in Helsinki, Finland. We will find out the date later today. Fox News, fair and balanced.
68 degrees. We have some clouds this morning and some hot weather on the way. 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. A Chicago man is accused of killing a woman whose body was found in a Southwest Side garage last weekend. Cesar Olvera has been charged with the murder of Joyce Clucci. The victim's body discovered in a garage Sunday in the 4900 block of South Keeler Avenue. She had been missing since last month. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner declaring victory in his long-running battle with public sector unions, thanks to the U.S. Supreme Court. AM 560's David Stewart with reaction to the Janus decision.
The court said non-union workers who benefit from Union 1 wages and benefits can't be assessed a fee to compensate the union. The fees will stop, and Governor Rauner touts it as a free speech victory.
This is not anti-union. This is pro-worker. This is pro-taxpayer. This is pro-freedom.
Mayor Emanuel says Rauner ignores the role unions have played in stabilizing government finances.
It's not a victory for taxpayers, and it's not a victory that I would celebrate, and I disagree with it.
Rauner's re-election opponent, J.B. Pritzker, calls the decision appalling. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
The family of Quintonio LeGrier will not be receiving money for damages, in spite of a Cook County jury ruling in favor of a damage award. Jury foreman Dave Fitzsimmons spoke to the media yesterday after he and fellow jurors awarded the family just over $1 million in their wrongful death lawsuit against the city.
I don't believe Officer Rialmo is a bad person necessarily. I think he just made a bad decision in the moment.
Moments later, a judge reversed that verdict because jurors also found police officer Robert Rialmo feared for his life when he shot and killed LeGrier on the West Side in 2015. An attorney who represents the LeGrier family says the city won on a legal technicality. Chicago Public Schools are launching a new office in an effort to try and protect students who report sex abuse. CPS CEO Janice Jackson announcing yesterday the Office of Student Protections and Title IX will be made up of 20 people who will investigate serious allegations of sexual abuse by teachers or students. Chicago voters will not get the chance this year to decide whether Mayor Rahm Emanuel and his successors should be limited to 2 terms. Former Governor Pat Quinn pleaded with aldermen yesterday to place his binding term limits question on city ballots in November. City Council then voted to put 3 other questions on the ballot. Since state law limits the number of referendums to 3 per election, Quinn's will not go before voters in the fall. Forecasters in northern Illinois confirmed 3 small tornadoes from Tuesday's storms. National Weather Service confirming those storms launched tornadoes in Will and Kane counties. A tornado in Manhattan was on the ground for about a mile, but did not cause any major damage. Another tornado touched the ground briefly near Maple Park in Kane County. An investigation continues after 2 men were found dead in a burning car this week in Joliet Township. Authorities say that discovery was made while crews were responding to a vehicle fire Tuesday night near Rowell Avenue and Sugar Creek Drive. One man identified as Xavier Saleh of Joliet, while the other victim's identity has not yet been released. Illinois is ranked just above the middle of the pack in the latest look at children's well-being across the country. Casey Foundation's Kids Count report came out yesterday, Illinois ranking about 22nd overall. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel joining with fellow liberal Democrats and calling on Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to delay a vote on a new Supreme Court justice until after the election. Both of Illinois' Democratic U.S. senators also want to wait to appoint a new Supreme Court justice until after the November elections. Senator Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth yesterday saying the Senate should agree to wait to confirm to replace Justice Anthony Kennedy. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner in hot water with Champaign-Urbana, having to walk back comments that town is not big enough or attractive enough to lure new business. Rauner telling a group of leaders from Champaign that he was trying to explain the challenges that small and medium-sized communities have in attracting new business. Governor says his comments that Champaign-Urbana does not have much of a workforce right now were taken out of context. An historic bridge in Long Grove severely damaged after a box truck plowed into it. Authorities say the man was driving on Robert Parker Coffin Road when the truck slammed into the top of that bridge. The driver is cited for disobeying a stop sign and a traffic control device, driving an overweight vehicle, and failure to reduce speed to avoid a crash. The incident happened just over 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks after the bridge was designated a federal historic landmark. Dodgers score 3 in each of the first 2 innings and hold on to beat the Cubs 7-5. Kyle Hendricks tagged with that loss. James Shields allowed 4 hits over 7 scoreless. White Sox beat the Twins 6-1. Jose Abreu, Avisail Garcia homered for the Sox. They've won 3 straight and 4 of 5. The news service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. You can choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio, compassion.com/radio. 5:08, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560, The Answer.
Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy announces his retirement.
He's been a great justice of the Supreme Court,
giving President Trump a second Supreme Court pick.
We have a very excellent list of great talent.
And the confirmation fight begins now.
We will vote to confirm Justice Kennedy's successor this fall.
Hear it all right here, all summer long.
Republican colleagues in the Senate should follow the rule they set not to consider a Supreme Court justice in an election year.
Right here, AM 560, The Answer.
Attention to this important announcement. If you have ever taken prescriptions like Adderall and are concerned about the side effects and high cost, now there's a new all-natural smart pill available that's the closest thing to a safe, real-life, limitless pill. It's so powerful and effective that students, athletes, and execs all want to get their hands on it. It's called Limitless, a Coastline product, and it's truly remarkable. It can help skyrocket your concentration, improve your creative thinking, enhance your memory, and make you feel like a better version of yourself. Call and find out how to get a free bottle of Limitless and experience this firsthand. It's not a question of whether this powerful pill works, but how great it can make you feel. Take it and watch it go to work. Limitless may be the best-kept secret available today.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Limitless, call 800-605-1653. That's 800-605-1653. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now, 800-605-1653, 800-605-1653.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day. She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies, although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society, creating a better world for pets and their people.
5:10. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Very latest this morning with Jim Telemonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good Thursday morning, Mike. Has some road work delays on the Eisenhower Expressway inbound. Stop and go 83 to York Road, where 2 right lanes are closed. It should be clearing shortly, but you're looking at about a 5-minute slowdown. So it's 34 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Some work clearing in the area between around 390. Eden's fine. Kennedy looking good. The express lanes have opened inbound. No problems with the Stevenson. Rhine outbound, the on-ramp 87th is closed till 6. I-57, heavy Holston to the merge after some work. 19 minutes from I-80 to the Rhine. Fisherport at 17. Still heavy around King Drive after some overnight construction. Tollways look good. You'll have some traffic later today in Schaumburg. The Boomers have a 12:30 game. And Joliet, gates open at noon for a big weekend. Check that. Gates open at 2 o'clock this afternoon for a big weekend of racing there. Traffic service of unbound.org. There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer, an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, big crowds headed to Kemper Lakes this weekend, too, so watch out for big jams headed up there for the LPGA. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Garrett Beck.
Humid and warmer today with sunshine and patchy clouds. The air quality will be unhealthy for sensitive groups. The high will be 88. Tonight, mostly clear, warm, and humid with low 77. Tomorrow, humid with sunshine. The high will be 95. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
Checking those newly updated temperatures. 68 at O'Hare, 68 at Northerly Island. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy start now on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and a banner day for worker freedom in America yesterday with the Supreme Court's ruling in Janus v. AFSCME. Mark Janus, who we've had on this show, is a state of Illinois employee, and he deserves a lot of credit for going the distance in this case. So now 22 states, including Illinois, District of Columbia, you don't want AFSCME, SEIU, the teachers union, to represent you. You don't have to be forced into financing their representation. Interesting. Mark Janus been on the show a couple of times, as well as our Sunday show.
He's going to be on here at 8:38 this morning.
Yeah, so bottom of the 8 o'clock
good programming note.
And he's been on Illinois Rising to our Sunday program. Here's what he said. This is back when we interviewed him, January 8th of 2016. This is before the Friedrichs decision, which was a deadlock and thus no action on this matter of fair share for public sector employees. This was before Scalia's death. Mark Janus explaining why he pursued this case.
Quite frankly, our current budget situation. As everybody knows, it's a mess. We've got bills that aren't getting paid. We've got people that aren't being served. And, it's just a conglomeration of, continued errors all the way around, on all sides of the fence, as I see it. But primarily it was because, I just didn't see that the union was representing a lot of my points of view in several areas, and I just don't agree with them in all cases.
And the argument that's being made by the hysterical left in the wake of the Janus decision handed down by the High Court yesterday is, of course, this is just an attack on unions, on unionization, on collective bargaining rights.
It's an attack on Democrats because 90% of the dues that we would pay would go to Democratic candidates. I mean, I was in a union for 18 years, and all we supported were Democratic candidates.
Right. And
if you've brought up a Republican candidate to support, you were knocked down.
In addition to supporting them with your actual work product on television.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But also, the dues were high. I don't know. They were, and the more you made, the more you had to pay into the union. And then when you get in trouble, they supposedly send a lawyer to help you. And when I got in trouble, the lawyer didn't do anything, just sat there.
Well, Mark Janus, though, this is not somebody who is union busting. That wasn't the impetus for this. And Janus provided us a couple of years back now with his perspective on unions.
No, unions have their place. They really do. I look at unions and the current situation kind of like a pendulum. I mean, as we all know, back in the early 1900s, business had an iron fist, and they kind of ruled the roost, if you will. And unions came along, and people, bargained, and they collectively got together, and they changed that pendulum, to start swinging more to the center. Well, over the last number of years, in general, the pendulum has swung way more, I think, towards the unions. And I think we just kind of need to bring that pendulum back, more to center.
For more on this topic, we're now pleased to be joined by Pat Hughes, who's the president of the Liberty Justice Center, of which I am a co-founder. This was Liberty Justice Center's case. This is an Illinois case. Liberty Justice Center, along with National Right to Work, took this case all the way to the Supreme Court, and, of course, as we know, was victorious yesterday. For more on the implications, Pat Hughes joins us now. Pat, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. Thanks for having me.
So what does this mean going forward? I saw there was already a missive yesterday sent out by the state, CMS, explaining to state workers, the implications of this decision, and that how you can opt out and how you must opt in if you want to continue to be part of, for example, AFSCME here.
Yeah, Dan and Amy, it's a huge victory for us and for Mark Janus, who's a wonderful plaintiff. Basically, the unions were taking these dues against the will of Mark and so many other workers across the country. And what Justice Alito and the 4 other members of the court that voted with Justice Alito said is, that's unconstitutional. And in order for someone to have those dues taken from them, they have to specifically state that they want the dues to be taken from their paycheck. In other words, they want to be members of the union, and they want that money to be taken from them. And so the unions are going to have to go and petition everybody who's a public sector worker, not only in Illinois, but across the country, to support the union. And if those people don't want to support the union, they don't want to be in the union, they don't have to be anymore. So it's a major victory for worker freedom and a major victory for the First Amendment, because nobody, guys, should be forced to support a cause or a group that they don't want to support or that they don't agree with. So
right,
it was a great win for Americans yesterday.
Oh, I agree, but isn't there a fear of retaliation? I mean, they could get you if you're for a promotion, you might not get that promotion, and they can make life pretty miserable for you at work. Is there anyone that could help, like a reporting agency, where if you're getting harassed, that there's someone there?
Yeah, I think Amy, that there's a fear for one person, but now this has freed every single public sector worker in the country, and that has a lot of power in numbers. And now the unions are going to have to respond to the worker. It was the other way around. For years they could take these dues. They didn't have to provide any particular service. Those dues came whether the union did a good job or didn't do a good job. Now they're going to have to earn the right to get those dues. They're going to have to earn the right to earn that membership. And if people don't want to be in it, they don't have to be. So I think the fear is now a lot less and the intimidation is a lot less.
The Chicago Teachers Union responded yesterday. Janus backers aim to crush public education, undermine economic and social safety nets. Your response to their response. Yeah, why?
Yeah, the Chicago Teacher Union that's a terrific group. Karen Lewis and her ilk, Jesse Sharkey. Look, the reality of it is, the dues member payers of the Chicago Union before Janus, and the non-members who paid fair share dues, or what they called the fair share dues, the agency fees. Do you know what that was, Dan and Amy? That was the same amount. They charged their non-members the exact same amount they charged their members, right? And so for the Chicago Teachers Union, this was just a way to have people who weren't part of their union pay them money so that they could do politics, right? And yesterday changed the nature of that relationship and changed their ability to, for lack of a better term, take money from these folks to support political causes they don't believe in. And you know what the political causes, Dan, Amy, that the Chicago Teachers Union supports. So this is more rhetoric from folks who who now are going to have to be accustomed to earning membership. We're going to have to go and sell their wares to their employees, and we'll see how that goes.
Does this mean that they'll still have floats in the Gay Pride Parade? SEIU, Teachers Union. Will they be able to afford these floats?
Yeah. So it's a great question. Pat Hughes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pat Hughes is going to pass on that.
Yeah, they're in every parade.
Pat, so kind of the implications going forward, we saw when this was done at the state level, Scott Walker, the budget repair bill back in 2011, that the Wisconsin Education Association, the WEA, their teachers union statewide, lost like 30% of their membership overnight. You have SEIU, AFSCME, and the teachers unions, including CTU in this state, who provide millions upon millions of dollars in support to Democrat candidates, the Democrat power structure in the city and the state. And so the assessments locally about the political impact, I know I've seen some estimates nationally that this could cost public sector unions upwards of $2 billion in political cash that they have to spend.
Yeah, Dan, I think that number is right. And if you look at states that have gone through legislation from non-right to work to right to work states, and what this decision does is it makes every single state in the country right to work for public employees. When you look at the states that have gone from non-right to work to right to work, the drop in Democrat vote is about 3 to 5%, right? And the reason for that is just what you just detailed. The money that's not being coerced out of these employees isn't going to Democrat politicians and Democrat causes, and the people in the union, the actual workers, aren't captured by one group that's affiliated with one political party. And so the participation in Democrat politics drops throughout the country. That's been shown. So over time, what I expect to happen politically is for the unions to try to compete for the membership and to try to compete for those dollars. But because it's no longer forced, it has to be voluntary, that money is going to drop, and by consequence, the Democrat vote is going to drop. And sort of it levels the playing field in electoral politics, both here and across the country.
Is this the death of public sector unions in this country, or is that exaggerating the impact of this decision?
I think that's exaggerating it. We're not at Liberty Justice Center, Dan. You know, you're a co-founder with me. We're not anti-union. Mark Janus is an anti-union. Public sector unions are still going to exist, but they're going to have to exist in an environment where they're going to have to earn their membership, and they're going to have to earn their membership dues. And if they want to survive and thrive over time, they're just going to have to do a better job of attracting members and a better job of serving members, just like any other group, Dan, that would want your money, or any other business that would want you as a customer would have to do. And they've been exempt for that for a generation, and now they won't. And so if they're smart, they'll get to the business of trying to attract members. And if they are doing a good job and have things to prove that they're going to do good services for these employees, then they'll attract members. If they can't do that, then they're going to be in trouble.
And with respect to private sector unions, your trades, for example, what's the impact of this decision?
So this is a public sector, because it's the nature of the First Amendment, only a government can impact. This is a public sector circumstance, so it only impacts the public sector. But of course, over time, we'll see how the private sector unions react to that, and we'll see what the court does in future instances as it relates to private sector unionization. This is sort of starting a different line of thought in how a member of a union and a union interact with each other.
All right. He is Pat Hughes. He's the president of Liberty Justice Center, the legal representation in part for Mark Janus in this case that the Supreme Court ruled on yesterday. Pat, thanks for joining us. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you too, Dan, and thanks for having me, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, big win for Sweden. Oh, my. But first, here's your forecast. And it's a game called soccer. Football, they call it. Today, mostly sunny, warm, unhealthy air quality. Oh, yeah.
It's not a sport.
Unhealthy air quality for sensitive groups, Dan, so be careful out there. I know you're very sensitive. A high of 88 degrees. Tonight, clear, humid, a low of just 73. And for Friday, it's going to be hot and humid with plenty of sunshine and highs in the mid-90s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Amy, congrats to your Swedes. They were impressive. Eisenhower inbound. Got delays. 83 York. This is with road work in the two right lanes. Still hasn't cleared. You're looking at about a 5-minute delay. Van Stevenson, about a 2-minute delay, Pulaski to Kedzie. The Ryan, a 3-minute delay, Cermak into the circle. And it's a little heavy on both I-57 and the Bishop Ford approaching the merge. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Podcast of our Illinois Rising program, Sundays at 3 p.m. That covers state policy and politics. Long-form interviews and our Against the Current series this week featuring Zach Wood, the liberal Democrat, recent Williams College grad who standing up for free speech and controversial speakers on college campuses. Follow the Logic Man on the Street interviews, our Heart of the Matter series featuring professional women speaking collegially about the salient issues of the day this week on Second Amendment rights and self-protection. And then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Defendhomeowners.com. Free property tax report on your home if you live in Illinois. And also updated home sales information on your neighborhood and your community. So all of the home sales and property tax info is at defendhomeowners.com. Everything else at upstream-ideas.com.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
When you conceal carry, you want to carry responsibly, safely, and with confidence. You want UltiClip. UltiClip was designed out of necessity. Traditional holster clips fail in performance, losing their retention or breaking. With UltiClip, you get the ultimate carry solution that replaces standard holster clips and features a smaller visible footprint than other clips. The patented design gains over 10 times the holster retention for better security and maximum concealment. Plus, UltiClip features the first multi-purpose tool and clip combo. And UltiClip isn't just for holsters. It can also be used for knife sheaths. Police departments are using UltiClip to secure their body cameras, badges, and other equipment. Stop wasting money searching for the right holster when you can upgrade and improve your current holster with UltiClip. Proudly made in the USA from Spring Steel and named Gear of the Year by Gun Digest. Go to ulticlip.com to shop and learn more about ways you can use the best retention clip available. That's ULTIClip.com. ulticlip.com for ultimate retention and concealment.
This Sunday, NASCAR returns to NBCSN with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of changes over the years. The cars have changed, the faces have changed. What I love seeing the most is all the stuff that stays true through it all. You still got the up-and-comers,
Kyle Larson out in front of
the hard chargers,
Kevin Harvick,
and the best dang way to spend a Sunday. Oh yeah, and you still got me to deal with every week.
Live from Chicagoland, Sunday 2:30 Eastern on NBCSN.
Protecting data across modern decentralized networks presents challenges that traditional backup solutions can't handle. At best, you'll waste time and money managing multiple solutions. At worst, gaps in coverage will leave your data vulnerable. Barracuda Backup is a single cloud-integrated solution that simplifies the backup process and allows data replication to anywhere on your network, a private cloud, Barracuda's cloud, or to the AWS public cloud. Reclaim your data. Try Barracuda Backup free at barracuda.com/backup.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Justice Anthony Kennedy retires from the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it was a tough day yesterday for cultural Marxists. They lose their baseline financing, and then they lose Anthony Kennedy. A great day for constitutional governance and freedom.
And later, the viral ad that propelled Ocasio-Cortez to her stunning upset win. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are clear right now, but clouds, heat, and haze and fog are on the way. Republicans on Capitol Hill are hoping this morning to fill the vacant Supreme Court seat as soon as possible. Justice Anthony Kennedy announcing his retirement yesterday. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell saying he'd like to get a replacement confirmed by the fall.
The Senate stands ready to fulfill its constitutional role by offering advice and consent on President Trump's nominee to fill this vacancy.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Republicans must follow the precedent he believes they set during the 2016 election.
Our Republican colleagues in the Senate should follow the rule they set in 2016, not to consider a Supreme Court justice in an election year.
McConnell refusing to consider President Obama's nomination of Merrick Garland after the death of Justice Antonin Scalia. After President Trump took office, he nominated Neil Gorsuch to replace Scalia. Gorsuch took his seat on the High Court last year. Immigration reform continues to stall in the House. A second bill went up in flames yesterday on a vote of 121 to 301. A man convicted of launching the deadly 2012 attack on a U.S. compound in Benghazi, Libya, sentenced to 22 years in prison. Ahmed Katalo was convicted on federal terrorism charges in November for his role on the raid, but was acquitted of the more serious murder charges. That attack on the diplomatic facility left 4 Americans dead, including Ambassador Chris Stevens. U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton is putting the finishing touches on plans for a summit between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. He's expected to announce details of that meeting soon in Helsinki, Finland. President Trump will be in Wisconsin today for a big event at Foxconn, a ceremonial groundbreaking for the new manufacturing facility in Racine County. Now, the presidential visit happens while the president is in a dispute with Milwaukee-based Harley-Davidson. A Chicago man is accused of killing a woman whose body was found in a Southwest Side garage last weekend. Cesar Olvera has been charged in the murder of Joyce Clucci. She had been missing for about a month. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner says public sector workers across the state are the winners in the latest Supreme Court decision on public sector unions and political speech. The governor was in Washington, D.C. yesterday when the Supreme Court released its ruling in the Janus case. And beer is being rationed this morning in the United Kingdom. Major UK wholesaler says it's limiting bars and stores to 10 cases of beer a day per brand. Now, there's a reason. A shortage of CO2 that makes beers fizzy. The carbon dioxide that gives beer its bubbles is a byproduct of ammonia made for fertilizer. Several major ammonia companies in Europe are being closed for maintenance. The UK being hit hardest by the shortage, the largest beer drinking country in Europe, expected to last several weeks. Dodgers scored 3 runs in each of the first 2 innings and hold on to beat the Cubs 7-5. White Sox beat the Twins 6-1 in Chicago. Top-ranked South Korean star Inbee Park tops a loaded field at Kemper Lakes, the third of the 5 majors on the LPGA schedule, trying to conquer a challenging course where the late Payne Stewart won the 1989 PGA Championship in the first of his 3 majors. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or MADD.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a win for the Republicans in November if we take some advice.
With this new era of confrontation
that seems justified by a lot of people on the left.
Here's what I'm concerned about. I'll be very blunt. I don't want us to be like them. As long as we're not like them, we're going to beat them where it counts, and that's on November 6th.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
537. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. That fog is a factor, especially south of Chicago, but even in the city at Midway, we're down to about a half-mile visibility, quarter-mile in Kankakee. Light boards at O'Hare and Midway show almost no delays right now. Keep an eye on that this morning. Gaydon's looks clear, the Kennedy as well. Eisenhower inbound. Traffic hits the brakes between Manheim and First Avenue. Just a 2-minute delay at the moment. Outbound is fine. Overnight work has cleared on the extension, so things were looking good in that area. Stevenson, 37 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34. Bryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop 420. It's always clear. Traffic service of Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny, warmer. The smog and fog combining for some unhealthy air today. Watch out for that high humidity this afternoon, too, with a high of 88. Clear, warm, and humid overnight, low 73. Currently 68. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Remember when we had the debate during the 2016 election about Trump, the concerns people had about Trump, myself included. But ultimately, it was things like Supreme Court appointments.
That's why a majority of the people voted for him.
Oh, well.
Well, that's...
I don't know about a majority, but it was why a lot of conservatives who had qualms about him voted for him, because the Supreme Court is so important. And if he just does that, if he keeps his promise to appoint conservative jurists to replace Scalia, obviously, and then if there are other retirements that should follow, that he would continue to rebalance the court in the direction of strict constructionism, that was worth it. I think that never-Trumpers have a real difficult argument at this juncture saying it wasn't worth it. With Gorsuch and now with Kennedy's retirement and Trump saying yesterday that that he's sticking to the list.
We have a list of 25 people that I actually had during my election. I had to 20, and as you know, I added 5 a little while ago. We have a very excellent list of great talented, highly educated, highly intelligent, hopefully tremendous people. I think the list is very outstanding.
The list is very outstanding.
Yeah, and the left kept saying all day yesterday, no, the court is going to be driven further to the right. Well, yeah, no duh. we knew that.
No,
even though,
duh.
Kennedy was, he was the swing vote normally and voted for same-sex marriage and did some things I don't think Ronald Reagan would have approved of. But in other cases, in his last vote, he sided with fellow conservatives. So he ended on a high note.
Yes, it was a very uneven record. Generally speaking, not a particularly renowned record from Kennedy. So I'm happy to see him go, and I'd be happy to see just about anybody from Trump's list of 25. Ted Cruz has already weighed in for his colleague Mike Lee. But the list is great. I mean, that's the list from which Gorsuch came. And it was down to Gorsuch and Hardiman last time. But there are other names circulating, including former Alabama Attorney General Pryor, Amy Barrett, who was the former Notre Dame law professor, just recently confirmed to the Seventh Circuit after having to run the gauntlet with DiFi over her Catholicism. A number of other highly qualified strict constructionists, this whole like conservative liberal, strict constructionists, like Steve Culleton, who clerked for Chief Justice Rehnquist. Also, cases have been made for Don Willett, U.S. District Court judge out of Texas. So a lot of super talented, bright, strict constructionists on Trump's list. And it is going to, I think, assuming he keeps his word, and there's no reason to believe he won't, that it is going to rebalance the court. And it's creating quite a bit of a hysteria on the left. One Politico reporter was
had a heart attack.
Was
had a seizure.
Was witness to almost a sort of folie du or trait, which was the DNC Rules Committee, Democrat National Committee. The Rules Committee was meeting when word came over the conference call about the Kennedy announcement. Listen to this.
Justice Anthony Kennedy has just announced that he's retiring. All the more reason.
Down goes one of the DNC boys.
We get a medic?
Yeah, exactly. Gotta grab her.
Not that he's done us any good on these recent decisions, but he was the one occasionally persuadable.
Groaning.
This is not good news.
Yeah.
And President Trump last night in North Dakota, he was in Fargo, don't you know? He was taking a little bit of credit, saying this is why he chose to retire while I'm in charge.
Justice Kennedy's retirement makes the issue of Senate control one of the vital issues of our time. And I'm very honored that he chose to do it during my term in office because he felt confident in me to make the right choice and carry on his great legacy. That's why he did it.
I don't really disagree with anything he said other than Anthony Kennedy having a great legacy. And the good news is, yes, it does remind people you got to come out for the midterms because control of the Senate is important. But to his credit, Mitch McConnell deserves some credit here, both for forestalling the Obama nominee, Merrick Garland, as well as for...
Is he on the list of 25?
He is not.
Oh, poor guy.
No. As well as announcing that he's moving on this. We expect a fall vote. So this is going to come before the election. And again...
And the Democrats can't do anything to stop it because they were all crying yesterday saying this has got to be pushed back till after the midterms.
Right. But, hey, they can't... the nuclear option has already been exercised on these sorts of confirmations. And, you know, Democrats have nobody to thank or blame but themselves. Remember Harry Reid back in 2013?
You worried Republicans will just get rid of the filibuster on the Supreme Court anyway?
Let them do it. Why in the world would we care? We were trying to protect everybody. I mean, do they want simple majority? Fine. I mean, all these threats about we're going to change the rules more. As Senator Schumer said, what is the choice? Continue like we are or have democracy?
All right. Thank you, Harry Reid, former Senate Majority Leader in 2013, abolishing the filibuster for federal appointments, both executive, such as cabinet, and judicial, for all district and circuit court judgeships, only excluding the Supreme Court, which then Mitch McConnell added to that foundation that Harry Reid laid with Gorsuch and now with this appointment. So for the crocodile tears of Democrats, you know, they knew this was coming, and Harry Reid said, go ahead, do it.
President Trump was not, I mean, no one thought that this would happen. He got a message saying, you know, Supreme Court Justice is coming to the White House. 81-year-old Anthony Kennedy handed his one-page resignation, and he's done July 31st. Well, actually, he's already, but I mean, he's officially gone July 31st. Do you think he should be replaced maybe with a conservative woman? I mean, we have 3 ladies on the court, but they're all flaming liberals. I mean,
I'm open-minded on the topic. I don't, it's like woman-man thing. I don't look for
gender.
These kind of artificial box checking. So I don't. As I said, there are women on the list, including Amy Barrett, I mentioned, and just about anybody on the list.
Well, what about somebody young
that
who
I'm
could
familiar
serve
with?
30 to 40 years.
Well, right. That's more of a consideration and a legitimate one. And Diane Sykes, too, another Seventh Circuit Court judge, is on the list. She's a former state trial court judge and Wisconsin Supreme Court justice. The age is a consideration. So, for example, Amy Barrett's 45 years old.
Oh, she's a spring chicken.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't just on the DNC call, though, that Democrats were sort of losing their business. Jeffrey Toobin, CNN legal analyst, also had some dire predictions on the issue of abortion.
You are going to see 20 states pass laws banning abortion outright, just banning abortion, and because they know that there are now going to be 5 votes on the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. And abortion will be illegal in a significant part of the United States in 18 months. There is just no doubt about that. And that's why these seats matter so much.
Exactly. I would echo what he just said, but just with a very different point of view. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Well, it's not only Roe v. Wade, but what about same-sex marriage? Is that going to be overturned?
Obergefell could be revisited if there's a case on point. It should be revisited. Anthony Kennedy's wrote the majority opinion in that case, which was literally an opinion. It wasn't a legal document. It was an op-ed. So hopefully it will be revisited. Right. So election, what did President Obama famously tell John McCain? Elections have consequences. Right. We have different visions for what this constitutional republic should reflect in its laws, consistent with the founding principles of the country, consistent with the black letter of the Constitution. So, yeah. Toobin is melting down at this prospect. Roe v. Wade is a ridiculous case on the merits. It was a horribly decided case from a legal perspective. Bad jurisprudence. And so if that did happen and a court challenge made its way to the high court on Roe v. Wade to overturn it, what is most likely is you would have the issue returned to the states,
right,
for states to chart their
and
own course on
Illinois would become the abortion capital of the world. And everybody from Indiana, Wisconsin, possibly Iowa would come here.
Sorry, but we already have that title. We don't need Roe v. Wade overturned to have that. Thanks to Governor Rauner. Grant in Rockford, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Dan, congratulations on your win, and thank you. I am a public sector union, and my check union employee. My check just got a little bit fatter, so
there you go.
I want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, congratulations on the raise.
The Trump tax cut. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. And as far as Roe v. Wade is concerned, the left is always talking about with guns and everything, we need to join the rest of the civilized world. Well, doesn't the rest of the civilized world pretty well ban abortion? So, thanks a lot, Dan. You guys have a good one.
Thanks for the call, Grant. I mean, right, it's interesting, too, because there's just very different worldview. We were just talking couple months ago, not even. Former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens saying we should repeal the Second Amendment. So that's, where the left wants to go with the kind of living document argument about the Constitution and their capriciousness with respect to the rule of law. And strict constructionists, originalists, want to go in a different direction. They think that the Constitution that provides the basis for the rules of the game in this constitutional republic, representative republic that we have, is important. So that's what the direction we're going, and it's about damn time. Dan in Libertyville.
I couldn't agree with you more, Dan. It's about damn time. I have waited my whole life for this to happen, to finally get a Supreme Court that respects our constitutional rights and will not allow the left to turn us into a nation like something out of Europe, a socialist republic, if you will. I could not be happier with what's happened, and I'm glad that we elected Trump. His tax cuts have helped my business tremendously. And all I can say is 2 thumbs up.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Greg in Schaumburg.
Last week, I saw a story talking about a return to the 70s and Bill Ayers like bombing of buildings and things like that because the left has no other recourse. And I think that whole movement got great impetus yesterday as a result of all of this. They have no other choice.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for the call, Greg. Bill Ayers, speak of the devil, he tweeted out yesterday.
What did he say?
We say fight back, new times, new strategies and tactics, but the struggle for peace and freedom, joy and justice continues. The people, yes, exclamation point.
Yesterday was a big day for conservatives.
John Pett-Horowitz retweeted the Ayers tweet saying his tweet is really blowing up the internet. Nicely done.
Oh, that's funny.
Richard in DeKalb.
Hey, morning, Dan. Listen, I'm a pro-union guy, and if it's a choice, I've read all the stuff on IPI. I've read everything on the Right to Work Foundation. If it's a choice, where's the conservatives saying that you should be in a union? I mean, I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican. I don't think I've voted anything but Republican. I think being in a union is just absolutely the smart choice. Where's the conservatives that say, hey, you know what? Unions offer more than anything you could ever get on your own. You're an at-will employee if you don't have a union. With a union, you have totally just a much better life, a much better voice in this world, rather than working for feudal lords.
Well, that may be the case in the private sector with some of the trade unions. I would argue that the public sector unions are, along with Mike Madig and the parties most responsible for the destruction of this state. So I actually don't think the public sector unions, you can make that case. But here's the thing. Our point of view is to say, you choose. You want to join a union? We believe in collective bargaining rights. You want to collectively bargain? You want to join a union? Join. You don't want to join? Then you shouldn't have to join. That's it.
But then you take everybody's rights away. What they can actually vote for.
No, you actually put it to a market test to see if people agree with your point of view on the unions, and what better way to do it than that?
But look what Walker did, Dan. If I wanted to move to Wisconsin and be in a union, he took away all my rights, what I can bargain for, other than just to have a bone thrown to me and good luck, with your life. And that's, like I said, that's feudal lordism, and I just can't agree with it. As a Christian, I can't agree with it.
Well,
and as a conservative, I can't agree with it.
Well, Richard, thanks for the call. I would say that the feudal lords in this state, in addition to the politicians, are the public sector union bosses.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Attention to this important announcement. If you have ever taken prescriptions like Adderall and are concerned about the side effects and high cost, now there's a new all-natural smart pill available that's the closest thing to a safe, real-life, limitless pill. It's so powerful and effective that students, athletes, and execs all want to get their hands on it. It's called Limitless, a Coastline product, and it's truly remarkable. It can help skyrocket your concentration, improve your creative thinking, enhance your memory, and make you feel like a better version of yourself. Call and find out how to get a free bottle of Limitless and experience this firsthand. It's not a question of whether this powerful pill works, but how great it can make you feel. Take it and watch it go to work. Limitless may be the best kept secret available today.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Limitless, call 800-605-1653. That's 800-605-1653. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now, 800-605-1653, 800-605-1653.
We're all ready for sunshine, drinks on warm nights with friends, and getting in shape for the summer. Do it all at Riviera Country Club and Sports Center in Orland Park. A 100,000 square foot private facility with affordable fitness and social activities the entire family can enjoy. Keep your workouts fun with 64 aerobic, strength and conditioning, aquatic, and yoga classes, all included with your membership. Work on your jump shot on a full basketball court, your backhand on 2 indoor courts and outdoor clay courts. You can even take a ride on their outdoor water slide and enjoy a few laps in their indoor pools. For mental relaxation, Riviera Country Club and Sports Center offers a men's and women's spa, each with their own sauna, steam room, and whirlpool. Wrap up the day poolside with food and beverages from Gatto's Restaurant and Bar. Call Riviera Country Club and Sports Center now to join, and the first 50 callers get their first month free. Call 708-349-1100 to schedule a tour today. Again, that's 708-349-1100. Riviera Country Club and Sports Center, much more than a health club.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
I like you.
I like you, my dear.
America is falling in love with Mr. Rogers again. Entertainment Weekly raves. It's the movie we need right now.
Fred's theology was love your neighbor and love yourself. It was a communication right into their hearts.
Mr. Rogers' faith has inspired us all.
Thank you for whatever you do to bring joy and faith to our world today.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Now in theaters everywhere.
5:57. Jim Tantelmani, we've got some visibility problems. 0.0 visibility in Peru this morning, 0.2 of a mile in Michigan City. We're battling some fog in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
That's right, Mike, and it is heavy to the south. Kankakee under a quarter mile, so in those areas in particular, allow extra following distance and really throughout. Right now, the flight boards at O'Hare and Midway look pretty good, though. We're not seeing many delays. We'll keep an eye on that as that fog seems to be intensifying. Kennedy, 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown up on 21. Eisenhower, 40 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95 to the loop. Traffic service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, inviting you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Garrett Beck.
They'll be humid and warmer with sunshine and patchy clouds. The air quality will be unhealthy for sensitive groups, the high will be 88. Tonight, mostly clear, warm and humid, low 71. Tomorrow, humid with sunshine, the high will be 95. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
Clear skies, 68 degrees, and that heavy fog this morning. The news, a service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. Choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio, compassion.com/radio. 5:58, here are the stories we're following this morning on AM 560, The Answer. President Trump in Wisconsin today in Racine County for that big ceremonial groundbreaking at Foxconn. Chicago man accused of killing a woman whose body was found in a Southwest Side garage last weekend. The family of Quintonio LeGrier will not be receiving money for damages, despite a Cook County court ruling, a jury ruling in favor of a damage award. Voters will not get a chance this year to decide whether Mayor Emanuel and successors should be term limited. An investigation continues after 2 men were found dead in a burning car this week in Joliet Township. Chicago sports, Dodgers score 3 runs in each of the first 2 innings and hold on to beat the Cubs 6-5. James Shields allowed 4 hits over 7 scoreless. White Sox beat the Twins 6-1. There are 4 World Cup soccer games on tap later today. More Dan and Amy after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Who's next on the Supreme Court? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Justice Kennedy's retirement makes the issue of Senate control one of the vital issues of our time.
President Trump at a rally in North Dakota last night. Who he chooses to replace Kennedy is going to be a political battle. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President Trump now has the chance to shift the Supreme Court's ideological balance more to the right for decades to come.
We have to pick a great one. We have to pick one that's going to be there for 40 years, 45 years, We need intellect.
The president has promised to choose Kennedy's successor from the same list of 25 conservative judges from which he picked Neil Gorsuch in February of last year. The White House says it wants to get started on the confirmation process as soon as possible. Dave?
And John, Senate Republicans hope to have a justice confirmed in the fall, perhaps in time for the court's next term in October. Democrats say no.
Our Republican colleagues in the Senate should follow the rule they set in 2016. Not to consider a Supreme Court justice in an election year.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer referencing how Obama nominee Merrick Garland was not considered, allowing President Trump to pick Neil Gorsuch. The president last night was rallying for Kevin Cramer, a Republican trying to take Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp's seat in November.
I will tell you, she'll vote no the day after the election on everything.
Now, the president's planning a meeting with Russian President Putin, and we now know it'll take place in Helsinki, Finland. The date will be announced later today. The defense secretary is now in Japan after Jim Mattis visited South Korea.
U.S. commitment to the Republic of Korea remains ironclad.
Mattis says that includes keeping U.S. troop levels in South Korea the same. Earlier this month, President Trump halted military exercises with South Korea after his meeting with Kim Jong-un, and the president no longer believes North Korea is a nuclear threat. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy announces his retirement.
He's been a great justice of the Supreme Court.
Giving President Trump a second Supreme Court pick.
We have a very excellent list of great talent.
And the confirmation fight begins now.
We will vote to confirm Justice Kennedy's successor this fall.
Hear it all right here, all summer long.
Republican colleagues in the Senate should follow the rule they set not to consider a Supreme Court justice in an election year.
Right here, AM 560. The Answer.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA. And for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal, and for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Call for your free sample now. 800-787-1010. 800-787-1010.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit mygvn.com or call 877-695-1179 or online at mygvn.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl...
Oh, heartburn!
One man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
Oh. And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it. Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales director
you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
If you only go to one festival this summer, this is the one your family cannot miss. Make plans to be at one of Chicagoland's favorite festivals, Eyes to the Skies, June 29th through July 1st. At Lyle Community Park, the Lyle Eyes to the Skies Festival has been entertaining folks for over 30 years, with morning and evening balloon launches, balloon glows, nightly fireworks, and live music on 2 stages. Plus, there's a carnival with rides, craft fair, huge kids area, and over 50 unique food vendors. Ever wonder what riding in a hot air balloon feels like, but we're a bit nervous? Try a tethered balloon ride and take some stunning pictures from this incredible view. Make plans now for the Lyle Eyes to the Skies Festival at Lyle Community Park, June 29th through July 1st. Admission is just $10 with kids under 8 free. See eyes-to-the-skies.org for locations of free parking and shuttle service, complete balloon launch schedule, and all the info you'll need for an awesome weekend. Don't miss the Lyle Eyes to the Skies Festival at Lyle Community Park, June 29th through July 1st.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Rasmussen poll yesterday. 59% of Americans, likely voters that Rasmussen polled across the political spectrum, 59% fear that Trump opponents will commit violence. Don't they mean commit more violence? But 59% will 59% believe that the left is going to
incite violence somehow.
Correct.
Some way. And this is more than just getting in their personal space with signs and yelling at them. I mean, is this actual violence? Is it physical confrontation?
Well, that was the question. Will resort to violence. 59% of all voters are concerned that those opposed to President Trump's policies will resort to violence. 33%, so a third of the sample, very concerned. Also, 31% say it's likely the United States will experience a second civil war within the next 5 years. So a third of the country thinks we are on the cusp of civil war. Are you one of them? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Amy, I know you're a doomsday prepper. Are you ready?
Well, I'm ready. I'm ready for anything, but I do not think I'm going to go down because of a civil war.
You don't
I think that's
you don't
a
think
little hyperbole. I don't think it's going to come to that.
You don't think is that just hopeful?
This
or
is my
that
intuition that
Yes.
I often go to as a mother too. Like, what do I feel or what do I think is going to happen?
Yeah, well, that's what this is really. It's an assessment.
I mean, I'm always watching my back because people know that I'm a Trump supporter, so I always have to watch myself. Keep that in mind. And I always feel that, my son had a great play, and I submitted it to ESPN, to SportsCenter, and they didn't put it on. And one of my neighbors said, you know why they didn't put it on? Because on your Twitter handle, it says where you work. They're not going to put that on because it's connected to you and you're affiliated with a conservative radio station. It was a spectacular highlight. It should have been on SportsCenter.
Do you think that is the reason? You think that is going to be the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the spark that sets the country ablaze, the failure of ESPN to put your son's video on SportsCenter?
Volleyball highlight on SportsCenter?
Do you think that, it could
everybody
be.
that has seen it has said, "Why? How could that not have made ESPN?"
Are you willing to go to war over ESPN's failure to put Amy's son's volleyball highlight on SportsCenter?
If you want to see the highlight, go to my Twitter handle, Amy Jacobson, SON. You'll get it. You'll find it.
And then once you see that video and you recognize that ESPN declined to put it on SportsCenter, then you come over to the studio. We'll have the pitchforks and the torches, and we'll get this thing on.
I'm grabbing my trident. Also, yes, and I'm going to submit it to America's Funniest Home Videos.
Sure.
And
okay.
I'm sure it'll do really well. over
Perhaps that could forestall armed conflict.
Well, do you think this is going to end with a civil war, Dan?
I think Ross Douthat has a good point in his piece about the Red Hen incident and the resistance. He suggests that every time the headlines focus on something unusually bad for that the Trump administration is doing, the resistance stands to gain, but it stands to lose bigly, as someone might say, when it's the people calling Trump a Nazi who seem to want a conflagration. He makes the point that such conflagration is inevitable, and history will be hard on people who grabbed a torch too late. We do have some historical examples where this attitude was prescient, but we just have more cases in which people who embraced, essentially, civil war ended up setting their own cause alight. And so, there's a difference between rooting for civil war and being prepared to, join the fight. Again, ideally, this would be rhetorically. But when you have weathermen on public sector pensions now, like Bill Ayers, re-entering the fray, and suggestions from pundits on the left that we're on the cusp of a 70s redux when it comes to domestic terrorism. I mean, you start talking like that, you can understand why people are going to get up on their hind legs a bit. So I'm not rooting for civil war, and I don't think it's inevitable that, or even perhaps likely that it's going to come in the next 5 years. But when you have violence on the left, from the left, you have the institutions that they dominate melting down, and they want to scapegoat people based on their identity or confer privileges to people based on their identity. That's going to run into conflict on more than just a college campus.
Yeah, and Bill Ayers tweeting, "We say fight back, new times, new strategies and tactics, but the struggle for peace and freedom."
Yes.
Joy and justice continues. The people. Yes.
Bill Ayers is going to bomb his way to freedom and justice. I mean, this is, what you're dealing with. And let me say this. I think there's a lot of tinder, and it just takes a spark. So if the left, someone on the left, part of the resistance, were to commit an act of violence, then this thing could get ratcheted up quickly. I will say that. What say you? We'll ask Scott on the Ike. Scott, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Oh, violence, and what a fun morning topic.
Yes. It is Chicago.
It is. It is, and we'll hopefully the tote board for Monday's weekend's tragedies won't be too high.
Yeah.
But anyway, topic at hand. I really think violence it's not inevitable, but to be honest, we know what side uses violence and those type of tactics. If law enforcement does its job in case by case, we see that they're brought to justice. I don't think we're going to see a lot because even the left will realize, well, if we do it, we're going to get caught.
Yeah,
and it's that consistency that we don't see. I mean, look at who's on the left is running around that we all know should be in jail cells, state level, federal level, doesn't matter. But if law enforcement did its job effectively and evenly, and that's it. You break the law, that's it. Go get your attorney.
Yeah,
we just don't see it.
Thanks for the call, Scott. I mean, you bring up a good point about law enforcement, too, with, say, police in a big city like Chicago that feel like they have the backing of the civilian political authorities who've lost legitimacy among the populace. When you have civilian political authorities or public officials with law enforcement responsibilities, say prosecutors like Kim Fox, when they are failing their first responsibility to provide for the physical security of their constituents and sort of celebrating their failure, intentionally failing, it would almost seem, then you got a real problem because then the police that provide a line between the civilized and the uncivilized well, that line gets erased, or it certainly is weakened. And when you have a party that has given in to the cultural Marxists, the Bill Ayerses of the world, that's a recipe for some potential serious problems and incidents. Tim in Naperville, excuse me. Hey, Tim, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Tim.
Hi, good morning. I actually called with a question regarding the unions, if you're still on that topic.
Sure, okay. It all folds in.
Dan, I'd like to know, Dan, I'd like to know your opinion on what would happen to employees who voluntarily back away from a union, to their pay and benefit levels, to their discipline, grievance procedure, representation. Do you see them remaining at the same levels, or do you see them kind of being at the whim of employers?
Well, you cut your own deal. I mean, I understand the argument is to say when you're part of a collective, you have greater bargaining power, you have greater leverage. But, there's a whole lot of at-will employees in the private sector that are not serfs in some feudal system, and they cut their own deals. So I don't know why it necessarily is impossible for members of a union or members who are looking to back away from the union to do the same with their employer, particularly when it's government. I mean, let's just remember something about public sector unions, which is really what we're talking about with the Janus case, separate and distinct from the trades, two completely different things. The public sector unions, FDR, George Meany, the founder of the AFL-CIO, both opposed public sector unionization because it's obvious. The whole thing is an inherent conflict of interest. You don't have management and labor. You have labor that finances their management, and taxpayers aren't at the table, which is how you get a Cracker Jack box like the state of Illinois. So, it's exactly what Mark Janus said when he first took up this case as the plaintiff, to say the pendulum has just swung so far to AFSCME and SEIU and the teachers' unions, and it needs to swing back a little bit and include taxpayers at the table.
And a programming note, Mark Janus will join us right here at 8:38 a.m.
Mike on the north side, who I believe is a city worker.
Good morning. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. See, what a lot of people don't realize about the unions and the public sector unions is the public sector unions are an ATM for the Democratic Party. Even when Democrats vote against public sector unions on pensions and benefits and wages, they still get the money. They come to our union meetings, and when I go up and talk to them afterwards, they say, "You're lucky you have a job. You ought to be grateful." I says, "You don't pay me." They say, "Sure we do. That's our money." I said, "No, it's the taxpayers' money."
Remember them?
They think, yeah, remember them? But they think because they get it, once they get their hands on it, it's theirs to do whatever they want. Now, this is what the Democrats wanted, right? What do we hear from the Democrats whining over and over again? A woman's right to choose. Well, now she could choose whether she has to belong to your screwed-up union. What the next thing with the next Supreme Court justice? A woman's right to choose? How about vouchers for private schools? Hey, it's up to her what she does with her child, right? Where she sends her child for an education should be the next thing. You better watch it. Now, I'm going to remain in my union and pay the dues because every month I go to the meetings, I'm the voice of reason, and I'm going to be a vinegar and jalapeno enema to them. They're going to have to pay me to quit.
All right, thanks for the call, Mike. And I like that riff though too. Yeah, I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-choice for employment. I'm pro-choice for the education of my children. Yeah, exactly. Spence in Mokina. Hi, Spence.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Hey, you guys talking about the Civil War. I got quite a bit of experience as far as history and military, and I've been watching this. I'm 42. I've been involved with the actual Trump movement, believe it or not, since I was about 15 years old. This has been a culmination of things that's been going on for the last 30 years, and the tax base, the tax-paying base being sick and tired of carrying other people, and our country being overran by ungrateful individuals. So basically, the Civil War, I don't think potentially you're going to see it 5 years, but you see it in the next 10 years, 15 maybe. If the left keeps pushing the right like they do, they better be careful, because when the right starts kicking back, they're not going to like the response they get, and of course they'll be demonized for it. But the other thing is, when the left starts these problems, just they need to remember who has most of the firearms. It's the right. And you got socialist, communist mayors like you do up in Deerfield, putting these anti-gun, trying to put these ordinances in place. You never know what could happen. Things can pop off. Things are kind of fire, but it's not the right pushing the violence. It's the left. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Spence.
Sounds like the right just has to defend themselves for when it's coming.
Well, I mean, hopefully it won't come. I mean, but when, again, you're talking about subversives, I mean, Bill Ayers, I know he's a public sector pensioner in Illinois, but that doesn't make him not a terrorist.
I know, and I just want to rip his earrings out. I don't like men wearing earrings, hoop earrings that I should be wearing.
This this Obama backer, Bill Ayers, remember?
Good friends.
He released a book on 9/11 dedicated to Sirhan Sirhan, who assassinated Bobby Kennedy. Just so you
Besides the violence that he committed personally, he should have been in jail and not celebrated and given a professor. Wasn't he a tenured professor?
Yeah,
at
USC. Yeah. I mean, just understand who we're dealing with here. And you see who you're dealing with on college campuses and elsewhere when it comes to, rioting to protest some police action. Think about Ferguson, Missouri, for example. Bob and Lyle, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, thanks for having me. Okay, there's already a civil war. They're usurping federal law. We have mayors and governors that really are, in conflict of interest and they official misconduct. They need to be in jail. And also, this thing about the DACA thing, think about it for a minute. Why should we give citizenship? These people are already free. They can go to any city that's a sanctuary city. They don't need to be a citizen too. They've already stolen everything they possibly can, and it's the real problem. And I've seen it too. Is that people are afraid now that nobody's obeying the law for anything, and that's what happens. The United States is starting to crumble from within, and we are a Judeo-Christian nation. All our laws have already been redefined, and this has been a real problem, and this is what's really causing the sickness in our society.
Thanks for the call, Bob. I mean, and maybe we're on our way back a little bit. I mean, it's a long road back, but some encouraging signs the last few days. Pete in Montgomery.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Morning.
I don't think there's even a prayer of a chance of a civil war in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Okay.
The key reason is the word war. I don't think Antifa has any tanks. Now,
well,
we may have civil discourse, and there may be criminal activity, but until you have equal arms, you don't have a war. You have problems. You have conflicts, but you don't have a war because one side can fight and the other side can die.
Thanks for the call, Pete. I appreciate it. I get the point. Sean from Elmwood Park.
A couple of years ago, I was on the Eisenhower on my way back from that sewer Chicago, and I'm lighting a cigar, and I look over to my left, and there is that low-life scumbag in a Mercedes S550.
I'm not a low-life
Bill Ayers.
scumbag. Oh, Bill Ayers.
Was he? Are you sure that was him?
Forget about it, Prof. You don't look around when you drive. Anyway, I'm yelling out of the window on the Eisenhower, pull over, you scumbag, and where's your scarecrow wife? And he wouldn't do anything except look for, he scoured off at Austin Boulevard like a little girl, blew the red light on the corner. What war? Where are you going to go to war? These Antifa guys. 114 West Park Avenue. Let's get it started. And another thing, Prof.
What was Ayers? Wait. What was Ayers driving?
An S550 triple black Mercedes, all dialed up like an actual businessman. Instead of an inherited trust fund scumbag like in Oak Park. His father ran GE, for God's sakes. Anyway, you've had two pro-union guys call themselves conservatives. Yesterday, you had Stephen Moran say, don't get wobbly. Come on, Harley Davidson, pay more money to us. You've got two versions of statism here, and you're ruining my walk on the beach. So stop pretending we know what a conservative is. There's 4% of the conservatives. And here's the good news. We'll take on the other 96%.
All right, Sean, one-man gang. Thanks for the call. Enjoy the beach. Lee and Hammond.
Yeah, just a little while ago on the news, they mentioned that the Democrats now are trying to use another wedge issue here with these illegal immigrants, that their constitutional rights have been violated. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. But if you're not a citizen, you have no constitutional rights. Isn't that true? And then the other thing about it is that
due process.
The only treatment that they're entitled to is just human rights treatment. They don't have any legal rights at all yet. We've got these radical leftist lawyers going down there on the Mexican side of the border, counseling these people on how to act once they sneak in this country.
Thanks for the call, Lee.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're looking for a way to become politically involved but you don't have the time, you can easily make conservative change happen every time you use your cell phone. Patriot Mobile is the only conservative cell phone company in the nation that fights for your values. They partner with conservative organizations to contribute a portion of each member's bills to the causes that they believe in. Patriot Mobile can be your cell phone provider today. They can help you support vital conservative organizations and provide reliable nationwide coverage on unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. This month, you can save big and get the iPhone 6s or a brand new Samsung J7 for only $6 a month. Make the switch at 1-800-A-PATRIOT or visit patriotmobile.com. That's patriotmobile.com or call 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Be a patriot. Switch and make conservative change today by using your cell phone. patriotmobile.com, your new cellular resource for patriotism.
I've told you how the MyPillow mattress topper's 3 unique layers of comfort evenly supports your body weight. It helps relieve pressure points and keeps your body temperature regulated all night, not too hot or too cold. And don't wait to get yours, because in June, you will save 30% plus when you buy a mattress topper at a discount. You can also get 2 free standard MyPillows. It's an unbelievable offer. 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off a mattress topper. Or get 1 low price on 2 MyPillows and receive free shipping, but you have to use the promo code Amy. There's a 10-year warranty on pillows and mattress toppers and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for these great deals and others, including 30% off pet beds, sheets, and much more. I love the sheets, and I absolutely love the pet bed because you can throw it in the washer and dryer when it gets dirty. Call 800-489-0201, promo code Amy, or visit mypillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Message and data rates may apply. Texting enrolls for recurring text messages. Nice game. Man, you're really playing hard today.
Yeah, it shows what a great night's sleep will do. Since I started using Z-Quiet for my snoring, there's no more waking up getting elbowed and no more moving to the couch in the middle of the night. For the first time in years, the snoring's gone, and my wife and I both wake up feeling great. It's amazing, so easy to use, and it worked the very first night.
I'm Dan Webster, co-founder of Z-Quiet. For years, I was off my game due to snoring. My wife Trina and I were desperate for a solution, and we found it with Z-Quiet. There's nothing better than waking up feeling rested, happy, and best of all, in the same bed. So if you're ready to score extra points in the bedroom, get Z-Quiet.
Z-Quiet fits both men and women, and right now you can try it risk-free for a full 30 days for just $9.95. Just text SLEEP to 246810 or go to getzquiet.com. Text SLEEP to 246810 or go to getzquiet.com.
Gentlemen, June is Men's Health Month. Do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone and prostate numbers? I know mine. I went to Low T Center. They made it quick and easy. Got my results in about 20 minutes. At Low T Center, most health insurance is accepted. They'll even verify your insurance for you. Low T Center physicians have been exclusively diagnosing and treating men for low testosterone for years. And in honor of Men's Health Month, Low T Center is offering a special testosterone and prostate level test for just $50. There's only a few days left in June, so take advantage of this offer, especially if you haven't met your deductible yet or have a high copay or simply don't have insurance. If you've noticed a decline in energy or motivation, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. So do what I did. Get your numbers checked. You owe it to yourself. Call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's 239-3427. Call 312-239-3427 or go to lowtcenter.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor, and he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking, and he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, a big victory for conservatives yesterday and for the Swedes. We'll explain.
But a big defeat in the House as immigration reform stalls. We'll talk to Congressman Sean Duffy from Wisconsin about what's next at 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Clear skies, 68 degrees, and a Supreme Court vacancy has Senate Republican and Democratic leaders drawing battle lines. Justice Anthony Kennedy announcing his retirement yesterday, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he would like to get a replacement confirmed this fall. The president using the retirement of Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy to try and flip a Senate seat to the GOP.
Justice Kennedy's retirement makes the issue of Senate control one of the vital issues of our time.
At a rally in Fargo, North Dakota, the president highlighted Republican Congressman Kevin Cramer, who's running against Democrat Senator Heidi Heitkamp. The U.S. Supreme Court says states cannot force government workers to pay union dues if they choose not to belong to a union. Wednesday's ruling deals a big blow to organized labor. A former Orange County, California teacher who sued to opt out of her union is happy with the ruling. Rebecca Friedrichs says yesterday's Supreme Court ruling that bars mandatory union fees was a long time in coming.
So many teachers out there and other employees realize that our money is being used against our will for a political agenda. It has nothing to do with our jobs and actually making our jobs more difficult.
Friedrichs telling reporters that she and other public sector employees prefer to join local unions, but not a national or statewide one that gets heavily involved in politics. The man they call the Ice Pick Killer is dead. Texas executing Danny Bible last night for the 1979 rape and murder of a woman whom he stabbed 11 times with an ice pick. Bible confessed to that murder and many other sexual assaults. The patriarch of the Jackson family is dead. Joe Jackson died Wednesday at the age of 89. He had been hospitalized recently as he battled cancer. President Trump will be in Wisconsin just north of the border today for a big event, a ceremonial groundbreaking at Foxconn in Racine County. The family of Quintonio LeGrier will not be receiving money for damages in spite of a Cook County jury ruling in favor of a damage award. The jury foreman spoke to the media yesterday after he and fellow jurors awarded the family just over $1 million in their wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Chicago.
I don't believe Officer Rialmo is a bad person necessarily. I think he just made a bad decision in the moment.
Moments later, a judge reversed the verdict because jurors also found police officer Robert Rialmo feared for his life when he shot and killed LeGrier on the west side in 2015. Dodgers score three runs in each of the first two innings and hold on to beat the Cubs 7-5. James Shield hit the Twins over 7 scoreless. Sox beat the Twins 6-1. The news is a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there's a girl in India who has dreams bigger than her village. There's an elder in Guatemala who has dreams of a life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help change the future of a person in a single moment. Begin the change at Unbound.org. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager, The Dennis Prager Show.
One of the reasons that there are no competing goods for the left on this issue
is they don't really care if we are inundated with illegal immigrants. That's one reason. Another reason is everything is seen in the prism of how can it hurt this administration.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad, just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early-stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Who is Joe Donnelly really working for? As a U.S. Senator, we pay him $174,000 a year. So, Donnelly's taxpayer-funded salary is almost 3 times more than a typical Hoosier family makes. But that wasn't enough for Donnelly. Donnelly took more. His family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. Mexico Joe profited up to $80,000. And a past safety inspection of Donnelly's family business found serious safety violations that put its Hoosier workers in danger. A 6-figure taxpayer-funded salary. His family's business caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico, risking American jobs. Mexico Joe Donnelly profits with tens of thousands. Vote no on Mexico Joe. He's just not working for Indiana. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
This hourly segment is brought to you by St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. More info online at sjnma.org.
It is 6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Mike, the Edens has delays first on the spur from Waukegan Road onto the Edens Expressway, and then from Toohey to the junction. 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. Kennedy, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. Eisenhower inbound, a crash at First Avenue just cleared, but it is an hour from 390 to downtown, 46 minutes from Manheim, and outbound 43 minutes to 390. Stevenson brutal, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 43 minutes. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. Westbound Tri-State delays, 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis. After the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial, slow pocket, 63rd to Roosevelt. Traffic service of Aruba Tourism, the one happy family on one happy island. Vacation in sunny Aruba with accommodations to fit every family size and budget. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your happy escape to Aruba today at aruba.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Heavy fog this morning. Sunny and warmer later today, high 88. Currently 68. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and be joined by Wisconsin Congressman Sean Duffy from the 7th up there north of the Cheddar Curtain. He tweeted out that he's going to be on the program.
Yeah, put hashtag #GoPackGo.
I mean, it's June.
Well,
you still have to have a Packers. The Brewers are in first place.
Well, why isn't he promoting the Brewers?
I don't know.
Unfocused energy on his part.
No, it's just everything is Packers with these people.
Well,
It's just
publicly owned
just,
football team, right?
It's just so much for us to bear. Sean Duffy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well played.
There we go. There he is.
Too much for you guys to Bears. Listen, hey, listen. It is never the wrong season to promote the Packers, and especially when you're going to be on in Chicago radio.
Yeah.
So, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
How's the House Republican caucus doing? They can't seem to get their majority together to move immigration reform legislation. Where do we go next after both the Goodlatte bill and the Ryan-backed bill failed?
The good lat, the better lat, the best lat bill. Here's my frustration. The president ran a campaign saying, "Hey, let's secure the southern border." His artful terminology of building a full wall, which it won't all be a wall, but it'll be technology and boots. He talked about dealing with the DACA kids and ending chain migration and putting an end to the visa lottery system. We did all those things in all of these bills. And the problem is we have some people in the Republican caucus that just want to be no. And my frustration comes in where the system right now is broken. You have an open border. People are flooding up, taking a really dangerous journey with their kids or sending their kids on their own. And, you're hearing stories about kids that they're being sent with a morning after pill because of the sexual abuse that happens to them on the trip. So I believe that we need to fix this situation at the border once and for all, and that I have fellow colleagues that aren't willing to join in that effort, number one. But I have Democrats who absolutely said, not at all. We're not going to participate in this debate at all. We would prefer to have a political issue than a resolution, to a crisis on our border.
Well, as a father of 8 children, or is there a 9th on the way?
Not that I'm aware of. Do you
Okay.
have my wife on the other line? Are we gonna? What's going on with that?
We have a
No,
surprise.
we're at 8.
No,
We're
I'm just
good.
kidding.
You're always
No,
the
but-
last to know. Yeah.
As a father
taking a sip of coffee, you almost made me spit it back up again.
As a father of 8 children, I mean, when you see, the images, and I know some are contrived and they're not, taken out of context, but the fact is that kids are separated from their parents. That's just the reality of it. What do you want to see happen?
Well, so first of all, as a father myself, I can't imagine being separated from my kids, and especially after a long journey like that. And that's a situation that we have to resolve. But let's take a second and say what's happening with our policy that's incentivizing moms and or dads to take this incredibly dangerous journey. So if we have an American policy that says if you come with your kids, that's going to be your gold ticket to get into the country, what happens? Parents come with their kids, or you get a coyote to actually find kids in your home country and bring them with you. And so what happens is you don't have a trickle of folks coming in with children. You have a stampede of kids that are brought on this dangerous journey because American policy is incentivizing it. And so if you want to stop the next wave of young people being put on this horrible journey through the desert and again full of abuses, let's stop the policy that allows kids to be the golden ticket.
Now,
and in the end, it might be kind of hard. It might be hard in the short run to deal with those who are now on the border, but it will stop the next flow and next wave of young people coming in. And I think it's important that we as policymakers be smart about the maybe perverse incentives that we put out there when we think we're being compassionate. Well, in the end, the policy isn't compassionate. It's incentivizing bad behavior.
Now, I mean, as the father of 8, you never want to be separated from your kids?
Damn.
I mean, you
Well,
never.
I
Come
should
on.
rephrase that.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
I would, but you know what I'm saying. A
but-
little space here. And there
Well,
is
you
not
don't know
bad.
when you're going to see them again, and then sometimes it's hard to connect on the phone because
But-
that's the only way they can communicate.
But to your point, Department of Homeland Security requested space for up to 12,000 beds at a military base to detain families caught crossing the border illegally yesterday. They're DOD looking to house 20,000 immigrant children on military bases as early as July. And it's this problem, and maybe we just need to do a better job of leveling with the American people and and trying to penetrate an understanding. Actually, Obama's former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson did a nice job over the weekend with Chris Wallace, just leveling, say, here's the problem. We don't have the infrastructure for this. And the conundrum is the better you treat people, not that we want to treat people badly, but the more, as you were describing, Congressman Duffy, the more that you make it attractive to try, the more people are going to leave Guatemala and come up through Mexico and try to get here, just to use one example. And I understand why they're doing it, because they want a better life for themselves. But we have, national security interests that we have to protect. And so kind of lay out this conundrum to the American people so they understand it's not just as simple as some would like it to be.
Well, and I think that's a great point. But I do think if you look at the border, it's a pretty, simple solution that reasonable people should be able to come to an agreement. And you have, again, people on the far left that, again, I believe they don't mind having a political issue with the Hispanic or minority community that does well at the elections for them. And on the far right, they're afraid of being, called a politician who voted for amnesty.
Right.
And so you have different reasons on both sides of the aisle. But when you just lay those stats out about what's happening on our border, and we have a Congress that's not acting, I could tell you, shame on this institution. We should be better than this. We should be able to figure out common sense solutions to difficult problems, and this problem's not that difficult to resolve. So we're going to keep working on it. But if when these bills didn't pass last week and this week, just the opportunity I think becomes that much more challenging.
How do you assess what's happened over the last several days, from the Maxine Waters action call to the election surprise yesterday or the day before with that young lady who beat Joe Crowley in New York? What's happening to
Ocasio-Cortez?
Yeah, whatever. What's some socialist? Or another socialist? What is happening to the other side of the aisle in terms of the disposition, the leadership, the policy agenda?
No, first let me tell you. So Maxine Waters is on Financial Services. She's a ranking member, and I too serve on that committee. And frankly, she's a delightful lady when the camera's off and the microphone is muted. Nice person. I actually really like her. But man, she has been unhinged of late. And but here's the problem. We have a great history in America of having really difficult and challenging debates. But that's what we do. We debate. We argue. We make our best arguments to our fellow citizens, and then whether it's on the House floor, we vote, or if it's in an American election, we vote. And whoever wins the vote, the loser, cedes the point and comes back for the next bill or the next election and tries to make more different compelling arguments to win, whether they're colleagues in the House or the American voter. They try to win them over with their new arguments. The new collectivist mentality, the radical left mentality, is now, I can't win the debate. And if I can't win the debate and I can't win the vote, I have to shut down those who I disagree with. So if you're on a college campus, I can't let, this bulking, huge man of Ben Shapiro, who, by the way, is a skinny little, non-threatening guy, but a great conservative. We can't let him speak on a college campus, or Ann Coulter, she can't speak on a college campus, or, we're going to have to go to Secretary Nielsen's house and shout her down so she can't sleep, or, put wanted signs up for Miller from the Trump administration, or even if you can't win, you use the FBI through Peter Strzok to try to undo the will of an election, or if you don't like conservatives organizing, you'll use the IRS to stop them from organizing and trying to get their voters out. When you can't win, you shut down speech. And I think that's just fundamentally un-American. Sharpen your skills, sharpen your debates, and make them to your fellow citizens, and try to win the vote.
What's going on?
We're going to a whole new space, and it's dangerous.
What's going on in Wisconsin? I know Trump's up there. He's going to that Foxconn facility you have. You got a key Senate race with Tammy Baldwin as a vulnerable incumbent. You got Walker's reelection. You got the eye towards Wisconsin. Can Wisconsin stay red in 2020 at the national level? Do you sense that there's opportunity for Republican pickup, or are you worried about a blue wave crashing on your shores like we are here?
I think we'll have, Democrats will do better than they have in the past in this upcoming election, just because of the nature of this being an off-term race, and we have a Republican president in the White House. But I don't think it's going to be as a big wave like some of the pundits or the left has been talking about. In Wisconsin, Governor Walker always has tough races. This is going to be another tough race, but we've kind of laughed at the Democrat challengers to the governor. They're like a clown car of candidates of extremists. So I think they're going to have a hard time. I think Tammy Baldwin is going to have a tough race. Leah Volkmir, a senator in Wisconsin who stood with Walker during Act 10, is running a great campaign. It'll be, potentially two women running against each other. Listen, let me just maybe take a step back. The polls and the politics change week by week, and so I look today at this moment in time, it looks actually pretty good for Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
But this can change in an instant, and we're 4 months away from the election. That's an eternity. This could get a lot better for Republicans, or it could get a lot worse. And so, for anyone to tell us that they know what's going to happen in November, we just don't know. But if the economy continues to grow, if you see 4+% GDP growth, in this quarter, if he navigates trade effectively and doesn't, crush, for us, Wisconsin ag or Illinois ag, and we get some resolution to North Korea that ends up being positive, I think we have a really good opportunity to not just maintain, but to pick up seats.
All right. He is Sean Duffy, Congressman from Wisconsin 7th. Sean, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, with all your listeners, come on up north, really far north, and spend all of that great Illinois cash in northern Wisconsin, Great Lakes. The sun shines a little brighter up there, so spend your money on our people.
There's no question. I'm actually coming up. We're doing our fantasy football draft at Erin Hills this year, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, there you go.
Nice. Get a little further north, just a little further north.
Got to go to Hayward. Yes.
Get into my district.
All
you guys
right.
have a good morning.
Thanks, Sean.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. President Trump de-escalating tensions with China, and the White House warns Harley-Davidson and another merger in the frozen food industry. Those stories next.
Hey, this is Ricky from Banyan Hill. I want to get a few things straight. First off, I like freedom. Second, I like money. Fact is, I like freedom and money, which is why I love Freedom Checks, a unique investment that can secure your retirement income without being tied down to the government. And while I'm no genius, I am smart enough to follow an expert like Matt, who showed me how anyone has the chance to stake their claim on an estimated $34.6 billion payout. To get all the details from Matt, just go to myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. Now, how much your check is depends on how much you put behind Matt's insights, but the potential here is undeniable. Of course, if you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion, you must have your ducks in a row ASAP. So don't wait. Go see Matt at myfreedomchecks.com. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
President Trump announcing he's dropping plans to impose strict limits on Chinese investment in U.S. technology companies. Instead, President Trump urging Congress to strengthen existing laws to apply to all countries. In the wake of Harley-Davidson's announcement to move its production of motorcycles bound for Europe to overseas facilities, the president has warned them we won't forget this decision. Harley executives were trying to avoid tariffs imposed by the European Union, but the White House wants them to keep 100% of production in America. Hoping to become more powerful players in the frozen food industry, the Marie Callender's and Hungry Man brands are joining together a deal worth $11 billion. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
We're all ready for sunshine, drinks on warm nights with friends, and getting in shape for the summer. Do it all at Riviera Country Club and Sports Center in Orland Park. A 100,000 square foot private facility with affordable fitness and social activities the entire family can enjoy. Keep your workouts fun with 64 aerobic, strength and conditioning, aquatic, and yoga classes, all included with your membership. Work on your jump shot on a full basketball court, your backhand on 2 indoor courts and outdoor clay courts. You can even take a ride on their outdoor water slide and enjoy a few laps in their indoor pools. For mental relaxation, Riviera Country Club and Sports Center offers a men's and women's spa, each with their own sauna, steam room, and whirlpool. Wrap up the day poolside with food and beverages from Gatto's Restaurant and Bar. Call Riviera Country Club and Sports Center now to join, and the first 50 callers get their first month free. Call 708-349-1100 to schedule a tour today. Again, that's 708-349-1100. Riviera Country Club and Sports Center, much more than a health club.
I've been suffering from depression for about 45 years. I've probably been on 5 to 6 different antidepressants. And even when they did work, there was that underlying feeling of depression. And it would never go away. Just call one of the treatment centers and just talk to the psychiatrist or doctor, and you'll be on your way. I'm Christy. I'm a wife and a mother and a real estate broker, and I no longer suffer from depression.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. You can make real progress in the battle with depression, cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com. End your depression.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dan Proft here. I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us, and Ryan just gets it. People are looking to buy a home right now. What do they do?
It's a great question, and it's a tight real estate market right now. I think most people know that, especially if you're actively looking to buy a house. Maybe you're on Zillow, Realtor.com, you got the apps on your phone, you're stalking them at work, and you're waiting for that right house to hit the market. Well, when it does, you better be pre-approved, and you better be pre-approved by a strong mortgage lender like the Home Loan Expert team. If you think you're the only one watching those same neighborhoods and watching those same streets, you're dead wrong. There's a lot of people out there waiting and watching. When that house hits the market, boom, goes under contract fast. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com, and you'll give yourself a big advantage when you do find that house. Go in there, get in there with your agent. You like it, write an offer, throw the pre-approval on the table. You should get an accepted contract. I'm Ryan Kelly, the Home Loan Expert. No one makes buying a home easier. Get pre-approved at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
Tired of working dead-end jobs, getting laid off time and time again? Consider the growing healthcare field. Change your future now. TTI Medical Training can help you. TTI Medical Training offers in-demand healthcare training programs so you can enter the growing healthcare field. They offer courses to become a certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, patient care technician, dialysis technician, and other rewarding healthcare careers. All TTI Medical Training programs lead to certification, and that's the key to getting a job in the healthcare field. Healthcare employers desperately need certified healthcare techs. TTI offers short-term programs that you can complete in less than 9 months. You can start your healthcare career right after graduation. They have 2 locations in Chicagoland and flexible flexible class schedules to fit any schedule. Call now, 773-774-2222, and begin healthcare training today. Or learn more online at ttimedicalschool.com. That's 773-774-2222 or online at ttimedicalschool.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
President Trump says he's honored. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Honored that Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy chose to retire now.
Because he felt confident in me to make the right choice and carry on his great legacy.
The president at a rally in North Dakota. Fox's John Deckers live at the White House.
President Trump says he'll move quickly to nominate a successor for Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy, who announced he'll retire at the end of next month. The president says Democrats want judges to rewrite the Constitution.
And take away your Second Amendment, erase your borders, throw open the jailhouse doors, and destroy your freedoms.
The president said he would choose a nominee from an existing list of 25 candidates for the opening. Each of those candidates has solid conservative credentials. Dave?
Now, John, one of those on the short list is Republican Senator Mike Lee, and if he's nominated, he'd need his own vote to confirmation considering how slim the GOP Senate margin is.
My understanding is that that's what the Senate rules allow and that you're still a senator until you're no longer a senator.
The Democrats are telling Republicans to hold on. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says in 2016 the GOP refused to consider Obama nominee Merrick Garland because it was an election year, so he wants a similar delay.
Anything but that would be the absolute height of hypocrisy.
Now, the president just tweeted Russia continues to say they had nothing to do with meddling in our election. And he again called the investigation a witch hunt with so much corruption. FBI Director Wray and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein will testify next hour at the House, the day after Peter Strzok was questioned in private. He's the FBI agent who sent a lot of anti-Trump texts while involved in both the Clinton and Russia probes.
The FBI is instructing Mr. Strzok not to answer many, many questions. At this point, I can't get into the details, but it is a very serious concern.
Republican Bob Goodlatte. Democrats call the questioning a farce. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Sunshine. In Chicago, we have 68 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. On a hot and muggy day, fog is a problem in several spots with visibility greatly reduced. President Trump will be in Wisconsin today for a big event at Foxconn, a ceremonial groundbreaking for the big new manufacturing facility just across the Illinois-Wisconsin border in Racine County. Chicago man is accused of killing a woman whose body was found in a Southwest Side garage last weekend. Cesar Olvera has been charged with the murder of Joyce Clucci. The victim's body was discovered in a garage Sunday. She had been missing since last month. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner declaring victory in his long-running battle with public sector unions thanks to the U.S. Supreme Court. AM 560's David Stewart has reaction to the Janus case.
The court said non-union workers who benefit from Union 1 wages and benefits can't be assessed a fee to compensate the union. The fees will stop, and Governor Rauner touts it as a free speech victory.
This is not anti-union. This is pro-worker. This is pro-taxpayer. This is pro-freedom.
Mayor Emanuel says Rauner ignores the role unions have played in stabilizing government finances.
It's not a victory for taxpayers, and it's not a victory that I would celebrate, and I disagree with it.
Rauner's re-election opponent, J.B. Pritzker, calls the decision appalling. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
The family of Quintonio LeGrier will not be receiving money for damages in spite of a Cook County ruling in his favor in a damage award. Jury foreman Dave Fitzsimons spoke to the media yesterday after he and his fellow jurors awarded the family just over $1 million in their wrongful death suit against the city.
I don't believe Officer Rialmo is a bad person necessarily. I think he just made a bad decision in the moment.
Moments later, a judge reversed that verdict because the jurors also found that police officer Robert Rialmo feared for his life when he shot and killed LeGrier on the west side in 2015. Illinois ranked just above the middle of the pack in the latest look at children's well-being across the country. The Casey Foundation's Kids Count report came out yesterday. Illinois ranked 22nd overall. Dodgers over the Cubs 7-5. Sox beat the Twins 6-1. The LPGA is at Kemper Links this weekend in the third of their 5 majors on the LPGA Tour, and 4 World Cup games are on tap today. Japan, Poland, Senegal, Colombia, Panama, Tunisia, and England, and Belgium. The news service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America Take Steps Walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To find a walk site near you, visit www.cctakesteps.org. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy announces his retirement.
He's been a great justice of the Supreme Court,
giving President Trump a second Supreme Court pick.
We have a very excellent list of great talent.
And the confirmation fight begins now.
We will vote to confirm Justice Kennedy's successor this fall.
Hear it all right here, all summer long.
Republican colleagues in the Senate should follow the rule they set not to consider a Supreme Court justice in an election year.
Right here, AM 560. The Answer.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales
director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA. And for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy.
There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues.
Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs.
Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream.
Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
7:07, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. 8094 westbound traffic is a mess from Indianapolis Boulevard across the state line to the Bishop Ford Freeway, where there's a crash blocking the 3 left lanes. Bishop Ford itself not affected, though it is 28 minutes from 8094 to merge. I-57, 21 minutes I-80 to the Ryan, and the Ryan, 28 minutes 95th to downtown. Eden's 26 minutes Lake Hook to the junction, up on 24. Kennedy, 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 20 from Montrose, 14 to the Express, up on 35 to the airport. Eisenhower rough after 2 crashes at First Avenue. The new one is outbound. Hour and 12 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound an hour and 2 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44 minutes. On Tri-State slow from 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and very slow from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Veterans Memorial delays are from I-55 up to St. Charles. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next at 7:08 on AM 560. It's time for a dry basement at a healthy home, and time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL, and time to check your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, here's meteorologist Garrett Beck.
Humid and warmer today with sunshine and patchy clouds. The air quality will be unhealthy for sensitive groups. The high will be 88. Tonight, mostly clear, warm, and humid with a low 77. Tomorrow, humid with sunshine. The high will be 95. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
It's warming up, 71 O'Hare, 72 along the lake. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Historic decision in the area of labor law by the Supreme Court yesterday in the Mark Janus v. AFSCME case, an Illinois case, a case that was brought to the High Court by Mark Janus, the plaintiff, who works for the Human Services Department of the state, child support specialist, and brought by Liberty Justice Center, which is a public interest law firm that was started by me, Pat Hughes, and John Tillman. That was his legal representation, was Janus's, along with National Right to Work representatives. And the question that the left is now having to contemplate, are we seeing the beginning of the end of public sector unions? The beginning of the end of public sector unions as the High Court overturns in a 5-4 decision fair share dues requirements. The idea that if you don't want to belong to a union, you have to pay into the union regardless. Mark Janus has been on this show a couple of times, and he's going to be on again
At 8:38.
He was on. So we've been following this case for a long time. And back in January of 2016, before the Friedrichs decision stalemate, before Scalia's death, Mark Janus made the simple case as to this case. It's a First Amendment issue. It's a freedom of association, freedom of speech issue.
You know, and the Constitution gives me the right of free speech and the right of free association. And unfortunately, currently, I don't have that right of free association because I've got to pay these fair share, contributions to the union.
Are you worried about the end of public sector unions? Not that that's actually going to happen, but they are, I suspect, going to be diminished now that they're put to a market test. They have to make the case that they provide enough value for people to voluntarily join. And there's a lot of Republicans in the public sector unions, rank and file, state workers, municipal workers.
Yeah.
Fine. Great. No problem.
But the problem is that the majority of your union dues went to fund Democratic candidates. So this is going to affect the Democratic coffers.
There's no question about
Definitely. And now is it an even playing field for Republicans? And Dan, has there ever been a public sector union that has ever supported a Republican candidate?
Well, sure.
I mean, there's some unions, right? But they're just not the big dogs like SEIU and AFSCME.
Well, they've supported Republicans in the past. I mean, unfortunately, I've long called for the Republican Party to not accept any money, Republican candidates from AFSCME, SEIU, or the teachers' unions. That's the axis of evil in this state. They are responsible for much of the economic destruction that has been visited upon the state. I'm sorry, but at the leadership level, they absolutely are. They've been complicit with the political class that everybody properly chastises and denigrates, but they forget to include their co-conspirators like the bosses at Chicago Teachers Union, IEA, AFSCME, SEIU. They are part and parcel to every terrible public policy decision of a financial nature, tax increases and unfunded pension liabilities and skipped payments. They have been part and parcel to all of those decisions for decades in this state. It's not debatable. That's just fact. And by the way, to your point, Amy, about the giving, just take AFSCME just this year. We did a story, one of the stories we did on this case yesterday at PrairieStateWire.com, one of my papers. 98% of the $398,515 that AFSCME has provided to political candidates in just the first 6 months of this year, 98% to Democrats. 398,000, I should say, to Democrats, 9,000 to Republicans. So 98% of their overall spend, which is north of 400,000, has gone to Democrats. The top 25 recipients of AFSCME contributions this year, Democrats. Number one being another self-avowed socialist, Cook County Board candidate Brandon Johnson, who beat Richard Boykin in that Democrat primary, backed by Preckwinkle and the unions, AFSCME, SEIU.
They also took out Fritchie.
Right.
Because he didn't believe in the soda tax.
And so, but I mean, all the, Rob Martwick on the Northwest side and Andy Menard down in Decatur, all Democrats. Natalie Manley in Bolingbrook, Democrat, state rep. Attorney General nominee Kwame Raoul, state rep Christian Mitchell, Democrat in Chicago. Jesse White, Kelly Cassidy, Lisa Hernandez, on and on and on, all Democrats. So the Democrats are right in charge, and they have been in charge for 40 years, generally speaking, with some intermittent Republican governors who've also sort of been complicit with all of this. So they finance the management that they then pretend to negotiate with taxpayers not at the table. That's what the difference between public sector unions and your carpenters, your electricians, your plumbers, your operating engineers, your stationary engineers, and the like, in the trades. True adversarial negotiation, and you hammer out a deal. This is a show negotiation where you're on both sides of the deal if you're the public sector union and sort of the politician, too. It's just a big show. And who gets fleeced? Taxpayers. And in a state where the public sector unions are as powerful as they are here, that's turned out to be a big problem, hasn't it, Ben? We saw what's projected at the national level is that the Janus decision could cost public sector unions upwards of $2 billion nationally in terms of their total political war chest. So that's a big number. And you'll see some attrition here, and that'll probably provide some advantage on the margins for Republicans. It's not the whole thing, because Republicans still can't, in part, separate themselves from the public sector unions, including at the leadership level, which is where the real problem is in this state. But I'll tell you what, it's interesting to note this case because this case started actually more than a decade ago, and it wasn't Mark Janus. The unsung hero, one of the unsung heroes here, is Pam Harris, who we've also had on this show. And the case that she took all the way to the Supreme Court, Harris v. Quinn, when the state and Pat Quinn weaponized SEIU, the Purple People Beaters, to try to force families who have a child with a developmental disability to unionize against their children. Their labor and the children are management of some way because of a stipend that families receive from the state to care for their children at home.
They wanted some of that money back.
SEIU wanted some of the money back.
The union wanted it back.
Yeah. Yeah. So there would, just understand, there would be no Janus without Harris.
Okay.
And it's so interesting to me because think about this in context and the contrast of it. So you have these two Illinoisans, regular folks, Pam Harris up in Lake County, taking care of her son, raising her family, whatnot. Mark Janus, regular guy, state worker. I mean, Mark Janus is almost like a cartoon caricature of a state worker. I mean, he's a super nice guy. But, I mean, he's like the short-sleeve dress shirt, hush puppies kind of guy. He's a regular, good state worker. Because this isn't about being antagonistic towards public sector workers or saying everybody in government's bad. I mean, never say that. Maybe at the elected official level in this state, but not as just state workers. No problem with public sector workers. They have changed this country for the better, enhancing worker freedom, protecting families who have children with developmental disabilities from rapacious public sector unions, standing up for foundational principles in this country like freedom of association, freedom of speech. They had just two regular Illinoisans that nobody would have ever heard of until they stood up and had the courage that they demonstrated to pursue these cases all the way to the highest court in the land. And the collective political ruling class in this state, at the city level, at the state level, both parties for 50 years, hasn't had the courage to do anything other than fleece you. Isn't it amazing? Two little people, and I mean that with all due respect, Pam Harris and Mark Janus, have changed the trajectory of this country for the better. And all of the wonderful politicians, what have they done? Destroyed one of the great states and financially destroy one of the great cities in the world, great states in this country, one of the greatest cities in the world. I just love the contrast between that, because it tells you what a little bit of courage can do, and what one person with some support from organizations like the Illinois Policy Institute and Liberty Justice Center and National Right to Work and others can do. James in Westmont, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, Amy, good morning. I agree. This is a wonderful case. I'm just afraid to see what all the private sector unions are going to put out. This is going to be fun. But on a note, they talk about the NRA, has all the politicians, quote unquote, in their pocket. I was just wondering what was the funding level between, the public sector unions and the NRA. I could imagine the public sector unions was probably given a lot more money, ain't it?
Oh, I mean, the public sector unions in this state, I mean, you're talking about tens of millions of dollars between those public sector unions, and 90% plus of it goes to Democrats, just as AFSCME's donations have this year to Democrats.
Right.
Yeah, no question. Thanks for the call, James. Bill on the north side.
Hey, really quick question, and then I'm just genuinely curious. Is this going to be discretionary per state or Supreme Court law, and now every state's going to have to allow public sector union employees to decide if they want to join a union or not?
Well, it is not discretionary. It is the law, and only 22 states in the District of Columbia had fair share. So those 22 states, including Illinois, will have to opt out members of those unions, and they will have to opt in if they want to be a member of the union. Actually, CMS, Central Management Services, the state of Illinois, sent out a missive to state workers yesterday explaining this. So this is in effect. Thanks for the call, Bill. Adam in Wrigleyville.
Hey, Adam. Adam.
Hey.
Hi.
Amy, Dan.
Yes.
I'm curious, how much do you make each year? Can you share your salaries?
I could, but I'm not going to.
Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say you win Broadcaster of the Year in the state of Illinois.
I hope I do.
You use
Is that a real award?
Can you use that award in your next contract negotiation to increase your salary?
Sure, I could.
Yep.
If the award existed and management was persuaded by my
what's your point?
talents.
So if an Illinois teacher wins Teacher of the Year, can they take that award to their school board and get a doubling of their salary?
No. Well, no. They're bound by a collective bargaining agreement, right? So what's
Who does the collective bargaining agreement really benefit then? You're getting one of the best teachers in the country, an extremely affordable salary because of this union. Who does that benefit?
the union?
And one more group.
The
community could benefit
no,
the community that teacher is working at.
Yeah, see, here's the problem, Adam. Here's the problem. I'm all for merit pay and things like that. I'm all for a teacher being able to cut her own deal if she's the best teacher in the land, and so she shouldn't be set to this. She arguably shouldn't be set to the same scale as your rank and file teachers who are not the best teacher in the land. And and by the way, the idea that we're getting a break on some of these teachers with their step increases for educational attainment and so on and so forth, step increases just for existing, I'm not so sure. It's not exactly an outcome-based system there in Chicago, but it's actually the better deal in the merit-based system for the high achiever, because in the system now, you have the high achiever being treated the same as the low achiever, and what kind of system is that? Certainly hasn't produced particularly good results in Chicago, as we've seen.
Well, I've taught at a school that had a merit-based system at New Trier, and the difference in salary from the teacher that was on the highest scale due to the merit system and not on the scale was maybe $10,000. It wasn't life-changing money. But I would argue that Dan, I assume you want to go free market, right? That if the union's dissolved, then teachers can go into the free market and shop their wares to the highest bidder. Would that be
Sure.
Would that be kind of the end result of your machinations against the unions?
Well, this isn't machinations against the unions. This is to say teachers or state workers, municipal workers should have freedom of association and free speech. They should have choice up front as to whether or not they want to join. They shouldn't be forced into a closed shop and then forced to pay fair share, even if they don't want to be represented by the union. It's about choice on the at the outset. Choice at the outset. Yeah.
Let's assume everyone becomes a free rider, right? Let's assume everyone in some school district decides, I'm not paying for those fees. Now the union dissolves. Now the teachers go in the free market. So an hour of tutoring, and this is New Trier numbers, so I don't know what they are. Let's say an hour of tutoring in New Trier is $100. Let's say for the average teacher it's $50. So now you as a citizen have to pay, because there's no local school district now. The union's gone. The teachers aren't housed conveniently close to your house. And you pay.
Wait a second. I mean, I can't accept your premise. If the union goes away, which it's not going to, but just for your hypothetical, if the union goes away, the school district collapses like a dying star? Hardly. That's silly. That's silly. Do you understand the private school model? Do you understand private colleges? I mean, you still have an administration that hires people, and you have all the departments to run an enterprise like a school. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. The teachers' union is holding this whole thing together? Hardly.
Yes, it is, Dan, because if there's no teacher union, what's going to happen to salaries? What's going to happen to teacher salaries and benefits?
The same things that some will and some might not. I don't know. We don't know until you put it to a market test, and that's the whole point. Thanks for the call, Adam. Appreciate it. John in Westchester.
Hello?
Yep, you're on.
Hi. My question is, as a taxpayer, I'm tired of having our tax dollars pay for the government actually collecting union dues and sending it to them. When's the next step going to be where a law can be passed that no contract can have in there that the government's going to pay for collecting union dues out of the paychecks and sending it to the unions?
Okay, thanks for the call, John. Chris on the Kennedy.
Thank you. I want to tell you, nobody as dumb as Adam taught at New Trier when I went there. A couple of quick points. Number one, thank you to Pat and John and Dan Proft for getting this thing pulled together and standing by the folks you mentioned, Pam and the plaintiff
Janice.
Mark Janice. Number two is, I hope your listeners understand that this corrupt, unconstitutional deal, I'm going to sound like Sean here for a second, created a pipeline from their taxes to the Democratic Party coffers. I got into a fight at the Tribune yesterday because those guys put out stuff after this decision, Dan and Amy, which failed to show the steps from taxpayer pocketbook to Democratic coffer. And that is exactly what this thing has been. Since the Abood decision, for the last 40 years, we've lived under an unconstitutional regime of support for the Democratic Party. Finally, your point, Dan, I agree. Without leadership, I mean, if any Republican thinks that they're now going to, have a warm breeze of support, they're wrong. They've got to emulate the kind of leadership that took us to where we are right now. And if they're not going to lead, then Illinois and Chicago is still forfeit. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You wouldn't put a square peg in a round hole, so why would you deploy a traditional firewall in a modern decentralized network? Firewalls have new requirements for businesses leveraging SaaS-based applications and public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We're in the cloud generation now, so your firewalls have to be engineered to fit right in. Reclaim your cloud network. Try a Barracuda Cloud Generation Network or application firewall free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
I like you.
I like you, my dear.
America is falling in love with Mr. Rogers again. Entertainment Weekly raves it's the movie we need right now.
Fred's theology was love your neighbor and love yourself. It was a communication right into their hearts.
Mr. Rogers' faith has inspired us all.
Thank you for whatever you do to bring joy and faith to our world today.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Now in theaters everywhere.
We're all ready for sunshine, drinks on warm nights with friends, and getting in shape for the summer. Do it all at Riviera Country Club and Sports Center in Orland Park. A 100,000 square foot private facility with affordable fitness and social activities the entire family can enjoy. Keep your workouts fun with 64 aerobic, strength and conditioning, aquatic, and yoga classes, all included with your membership. Work on your jump shot on a full basketball court, your backhand on 2 indoor courts and outdoor clay courts. You can even take a ride on their outdoor water slide and enjoy a few laps in their indoor pools. For mental relaxation, Riviera Country Club and Sports Center offers a men's and women's spa, each with their own sauna, steam room, and whirlpool. Wrap up the day poolside with food and beverages from Gatto's Restaurant and Bar. Call Riviera Country Club and Sports Center now to join, and the first 50 callers get their first month free. Call 708-349-1100 to schedule a tour today. Again, that's 708-349-1100. Riviera Country Club and Sports Center, much more than a health club.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Handicapping Kennedy's replacement, Randy Barnett, Georgetown law professor, joins us at 7:37.
And later, we are going to get to that big, huge Swedish victory and what it sounded like on the other side of the pond. But first, here in the newsroom is Mike Scott.
Clear skies, 71 degrees. Just confirmed from the White House. President Trump and Vladimir Putin will get together for a summit next month in the Finnish capital of Helsinki. White House confirming this morning that Trump and Putin will meet on July 16. The Helsinki summit will come just a few days after the president meets with other NATO nation officials. Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy's retirement announcement setting off a battle in the Senate where Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he'd like to get a replacement confirmed this fall.
We will vote to confirm Justice Kennedy's successor this fall.
Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer says the confirmation process should be put on hold until after November's midterm.
Millions of people are just months away from determining the senators who should vote to confirm or reject the president's nominee, and their voices deserve to be heard now.
First Lady Melania Trump planning a second visit to an immigration center today. Mrs. Trump toured a shelter for unaccompanied children during a surprise visit to McAllen, Texas last Thursday. Boeing showing off a hypersonic concept plane that could reach Mach 5, 3,900 miles per hour. Could take passengers from New York to London in about 2 hours. The discontinued Concorde, by way of comparison, only flew at around Mach 2. It's all just an idea for Boeing right now at the moment. President Trump will be in Wisconsin today for a big event at Foxconn just across the Wisconsin border in Racine, Wisconsin. The family of Quintonio LeGrier will not be receiving money from the city of Chicago for damages in spite of a Cook County jury ruling in favor of damage awards. A judge reversed that verdict because jurors also found the police officer involved, Robert Rialmo, feared for his life when he shot and killed LeGrier on the west side in 2015. An investigation continues after 2 men were found dead in a burning car in Joliet Township. And a Western Illinois coroner who came under fire earlier this spring for holding on to remains until low-income families paid up is under investigation. The Quincy Herald-Whig yesterday reported that both the Illinois State Police and the State Attorney Appellate's prosecutor office are looking into a complaint against Adams County Coroner Jim Keller. Earlier this month, Keller announced he would resign in July, but a newspaper reports this morning he's been locked out of his office. Chicago sports, Dodgers over the Cubs 7-5. White Sox beat the Twins 6-1. And the LPGA kicks off at Kemper Lakes this weekend. The news, a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there's a girl in India who has dreams bigger than her village. Right now, there's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of life of greater dignity and less loneliness. And you can help change the future of one person in a single moment. Begin the change at Unbound.org. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I am a Trump supporter.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Now, I am a Trump supporter who will freely criticize the president when I think he's done wrong. And done wrong can be sending out a stupid tweet, raising taxes, or supporting amnesty. Can be anything. It's the issues to me. And when President Trump does something that does not advance those issues, I'll call him out on it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This Friday and Saturday, get up to $300 in prepaid MasterCards on select tire and wheel packages purchased with Discount Tire Credit. Discount Tire, where America saves on tires.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560, The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Who is Joe Donnelly really working for? As a U.S. Senator, we pay him $174,000 a year. So, Donnelly's taxpayer-funded salary is almost 3 times more than a typical Hoosier family makes. But that wasn't enough for Donnelly. Donnelly took more. His family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. Mexico Joe profited up to $80,000. And a past safety inspection of Donnelly's family business found serious safety violations that put its Hoosier workers in danger. A 6-figure taxpayer-funded salary, his family's business caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico, risking American jobs. Mexico Joe Donnelly profits with tens of thousands. Vote no on Mexico Joe. He's just not working for Indiana. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
7:37, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Bike traffic jammed on eastbound I-80 from I-55 to the Des Plaines River Bridge, where there's a crash. 80-94 westbound heavy Klein Avenue to Bishop Ford Freeway after a collision. Edens is 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 26. Kennedy 39 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 47. Eisenhower 55 minutes from 390 to downtown outbound at 57 minutes. Stevenson an hour and 12 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 47 minutes. Ryan 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic service of Aruba Tourism. The Happy Island of Aruba is nestled in the southern Caribbean outside the hurricane belt. Picture-perfect weather is practically guaranteed. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your Aruba vacation today at Aruba.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny and warm. Watch out for smoggy, unhealthy air this afternoon as humidity rises. High near 88. Currently 71. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And President Trump had this to say upon addressing the press after Anthony Kennedy submitted his retirement letter.
He's been a great justice of the Supreme Court. He is a man who is displaying great vision. He's displayed tremendous vision and tremendous heart. And he will be missed, but he will be retiring. And we will begin our search for a new justice of the United States Supreme Court that will begin immediately. And hopefully we're going to pick somebody who will be as outstanding. So I just want to thank Justice Kennedy for the years of tremendous service. He's a very spectacular man, really a spectacular man.
President Trump in North Dakota last night said that he wants to leave a lasting stamp on the U.S. Supreme Court.
Travel ban ruling underscores just how critical it is to confirm judges who will support our Constitution. And remember this, so we have a pick to come up. We have to pick a great one. We have to pick one that's going to be there for 40 years, 45 years.
So age does matter.
Well, of course it does. Yeah, and he's sticking to his list from which he picked Neil Gorsuch, so that's good news. He made that clear yesterday. Mitch McConnell says vote will come this fall, so that's good news. The nuclear option is still in force, so you just need your 51 Republican senators to confirm Trump's nominee, whoever that may come to be.
You know who threw their hat in the ring this morning? Ben Shapiro. He says, I'm only 34. I could be on the court for 60 years. Just saying. Shopping himself around this morning.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It is.
For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Randy Barnett, Georgetown law professor, author of Our Republican Constitution, Securing the Liberty and Sovereignty of We the People. Randy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Are you also going to shop yourself?
I don't fit the age requirement.
Oh,
so
I'm
sorry.
No, that's too bad. So before we get to handicapping the replacement, your assessment of Anthony Kennedy's tenure on the High Court?
I think it was very, very interesting. He's somebody who was his own person and who definitely tacked to the right with respect to federalism questions. He tacked what you would say to the left with respect to personal autonomy questions. So the bottom line of Anthony Kennedy, regardless of what his methodology was, he was not much of an originalist, let's say, was that he was fairly libertarian in the outcomes that he tended to favor.
Do you think President Reagan would have been proud of his selection?
I actually think he wouldn't have been as displeased as you might imagine. Anthony Kennedy was the third choice for that seat after Robert Bork went down, after Doug Ginsburg had to withdraw, and I would love to have seen a Doug Ginsburg Supreme Court justiceship. Frankly, that was a tragedy. But I don't think Reagan would have been so terribly put off by this.
Well, I mean, his cowardice in the Planned Parenthood v. Casey decision, where he flipped under pressure, was not exactly one of the finer moments. I don't think the Gipper would have appreciated that.
No, but then he came back and limited the scope of that with the partial birth abortion ruling that he authored after that. So he tended to make a move like that. Then he talked about the limits on that move, where the other side saw no limits to that move, whatever that might be. He's an interesting guy.
Thinking about potential replacements, as I said, Trump is sticking to his Federalist Society Heritage Foundation list that Leonard Leo keeps in a vault somewhere. And one of the names that's circulating and was leveled up by his Senate colleague Ted Cruz is Mike Lee. What about the idea of nominating an incumbent senator for Supreme Court?
Well, first of all, let me say that isn't it kind of a good thing? Isn't this kind of a wonderful development, positive development, let's say, that there was a list like this, that he ran on the list like this, that people voted on the basis of the list like this, and that he stuck with it since then. I mean, many people were skeptical he'd keep his promise to do that, and yet he has. That seems to be of all the terrible things that are happening in our polity, with our politics, this seems to be a very favorable development in politics. Supreme Court justices really ought to be on the agenda for every presidential election, and only because Justice Scalia's seat was vacant and needed to be filled did it happen this time. And yet, and this is the way it happened. And I have to say, aren't you kind of happy about that?
Very.
Oh yeah.
Very happy. I mean, it as you said, it justifies a lot of the people who said, "Look, I have some concerns about Trump, some of his behavior, his past, his, what he believes today versus what he believed a few years ago." But the Supreme Court, but the Scalia vacancy, but the Supreme Court in general, that's the difference maker. We can't have Hillary making Supreme Court nominations. And, for the never-Trumpers on the right, boy, they're in a bit of a conundrum now to explain themselves, because those people who decided for Trump based on Supreme Court appointments have been vindicated so far.
Well, in a moment of weakness, I sort of tweaked them on Twitter last night. And got a predictable response, I suppose, and that is that they weren't prepared to sacrifice their soul, in the words of one of them, just to get a Supreme Court nominee or two, I guess. But I guess my point is that having a public list like this, whatever it is on the list, is kind of interesting, because normally this is a black box. Everybody starts raging with speculation. This person, that person, this person, that person. Nobody knows who's in. Nobody knows who's out. Everybody starts politicking and maneuvering. But we have a list, not a definitive list, but we have a definite list. And we can start debating the people whose names are on that list. And I think Mike Lee's names is on that list.
Yeah. But it was just, the idea, not just Mike Lee potentially voting for himself, but just the idea of an incumbent senator, an elected official versus a judge. Do you place any weight in the distinction between the two, or just look at suggest that we focus on the legal minds at bar?
I think my recommendation has been, first and foremost, we need somebody who is a self-professed originalist who believes that the meaning of the Constitution should remain the same until it's properly changed by amendment. We need that, and then we need somebody who has the intestinal fortitude or courage to stick with their guns even when great pressure is brought to bear on them to deviate from that. That's what we need. We need both a substantive view and we need character to go with it. That's what we should be vetting for.
And later down the line, when somebody is announced and goes through the Senate confirmation process, what potential Supreme Court decisions do you think could be in jeopardy? I mean, they released a list saying abortion, affirmative action, death penalty for minors, presidential subpoena power, and religious freedom.
Amy, I don't have a strong opinion about this, and I prefer not to speculate about outcomes and judge candidates on the basis of outcomes. I judge them on the basis of the method. In fact, it's the method that helps tell me whether I like the outcome or not. Say the Fourth Amendment cell tower case. I'm very much on the privacy side of all of this issue and believe warrant requirements are necessary. And yet I needed to think about what the Fourth Amendment really says to know whether in this particular case you ought to have a warrant to get a cell tower record. And I have to say I was moved by both Justice Thomas's and Justice Gorsuch's dissent there. So first tell me what the legal argument is, and then we'll talk about results.
From some of the names on the list, including some who've had their profile raised recently, like Amy Baird from Notre Dame, now in the Seventh Circuit because of her back and forth with Dianne Feinstein about her Catholicism. Do you have any particular favorite? Like if you not in terms of handicapping it, but in terms of like, this is somebody that would fit my criteria. There's a lot of good names on this list, but this is, if I was President Trump, this is who I'd pick.
Well, I'm going to stick with the practice I established last time, is I don't talk about any of the people on the list, pro or con. I will say that with respect to Justice Gorsuch, he was not somebody who I knew last time around. I had people who I trust told me to take a close look at him once he was on the short list, and my opinion of him rose really, really quickly and really, really high on the basis of what I found out after he was on the short list. I mean the short list, not the list of 25. And he certainly lived up to the high expectations I had for him by the time he was chosen. So I have an open mind about these folks. Many of the people on the list who I know I like very much. There's quite a few people on the list I don't know that well, and Justice Gorsuch was one of those people.
Do you find it odd? I mean, it came down to Gorsuch and Hardiman, and so if he was your second choice and now you have a second appointment, why wouldn't you just go with Hardiman?
Well, you don't actually know if he was the second choice or not. People float alternatives in order to distract the press from the chosen person. And yeah, you're right. If that's true, that's true. But we don't know if that's true. And also, it's situational. It depends on,
Right.
You've already gotten one person on the court. This happens to have been a male. Do you want to go for a female this time, for example? So I'm not saying they do, but that, each pick is going to be different.
All right. He is Randy Barnett, Georgetown law professor. His book, Our Republican Constitution, Securing the Liberty and Sovereignty of We the People. Randy, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, plenty of sunshine. It's going to be warm and unhealthy air quality for sensitive groups. Dan, be careful out there today. A high of 88 degrees tonight. Clear, but warm and humid. A low of just 73. And tomorrow, the heat kicks in. It's going to be hot and humid, but plenty of sunshine and a high in the mid-90s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. How are you, Jim Telemonte? It's been a while.
I'm well. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. It's heavy this morning once again on southbound 53, just like yesterday. The delays start at Dundee Road and continue down to Kirchhoff. Today, though, the northbound side looks good. Northbound 355 is a different story. It's heavy from I-55 to St. Charles, southbound from the Army Trail Toll Plaza to St. Charles. Southbound Tri-State, we're seeing delays from around 132 to 176. There was a crash in that area. And it's slow from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose Kennedy, 39 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes from 390 to the Circle. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to the Drive. And Orion, 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg and the team Hochberg Mortgage Experts over there, Pearl Mortgage. Words are hard. To get approved for a mortgage before speaking with a realtor. Gloria, recently divorced, mother of two, secured a Team Hochberg loan approval before purchasing a home. Gloria's contract was accepted over 3 other buyers because Gloria's contract was the only contract with a Team Hochberg loan approval, which enabled her to close within 10 business days of signing that contract. Gloria also did a Permaseal sewer inspection, which Team Hochberg issued a credit for at the closing and found a blocked sewer line that the seller had to correct. It exponentially increases your chances of purchasing a home, so secure that Team Hochberg loan approval like Gloria did by calling David and Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333 or simply visit am560david.com. David and Team Hochberg has helped Gloria and thousands of AM560 listeners, but they can't help if you don't call. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 and MLS 19186.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Chicagoland, Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us. He gets it. That's one of the things I think that separates you from others in a very competitive marketplace, Ryan. Why is the HomeLoanExpert.com the place to go to buy or sell your home?
I'll give you a couple of things that really separate the Home Loan Expert office from all these other mortgage lenders. First of all, it's the way we take care of our clients. 15 years ago, when I was knocking on doors, trying to start up the Home Loan Expert and get in the business, I sat down at people's kitchen tables and I talked to them. And one of the biggest frustrations people had was they didn't trust mortgage lenders. They felt like they were shoved into loans. Well, we don't do that. We offer customer service that nobody else can match. And of course, lower rates on better loans. And we do all types of loans. We do the VA loans. Heck, we close VA loans in 14 days. Nobody else does that. We do jumbo loans, cash out loans, FHA loans. We can do a loan for about anybody. Heck, we have a bank statement mortgage. We don't even need your tax returns or pay stubs. Thinking about refinancing, now's a great time. 5 minutes can save you $500 a month. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
Hey, we know replacing your roof is a big deal and a big decision. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. We would love to do your roof. Why choose Crumweedy to do your roof or roof repairs?
It's all about installation. Our guys are pros. When we install your roof, you'll get the Crumweedy promise of installation that's up to manufacturer specifications. So your warranty is intact. You'll be happy.
Cost. We give you a good, better, best option. You choose. No high pressure.
We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you.
We do business the right way. We have a special offer that includes free gutters with a new roof. Ask about it. When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. 630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
When you're insured by Mag Mutual, you get more than just medical professional liability protection. You get partnership. They're your partner when it comes to safeguarding patients, physicians, and healthcare teams. Everything they do is focused on protecting and supporting you in the practice of medicine. From helping you save money to mitigating your risk, they are your single source for customized service and support. Their promise to protect includes comprehensive insurance solutions for the practice, business, and regulation of medicine, from expert guidance to an extensive resource library and complimentary access to up-to-date. They're committed to creating a plan specifically for you, ensuring your continued success. You can stay focused on your patients, knowing Mag Mutual is your partner. Visit them on the web at magmutual.com.
For more information about Mag Mutual in Illinois, please contact Jim Nelson at RT Nelson at 630-990-4220 or by email at jnelson@rtnelson.com. Visit their website at rtnelson.com.
Stocks and options trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Fire your stockbroker and hire yourself. I'm Scott Bauer, and I've been a professional trader for over 25 years. I've traded for Goldman Sachs and was the first Amazon market maker at the Chicago Board Options Exchange. I'm also the CEO here at Prosper Trading Academy, the leading educational firm teaching people how to trade the markets. For a limited time, I'm giving away one of my favorite secret trading techniques used by thousands of our students every day to help build their financial future. To learn this technique right now, call my 24/7 voicemail and just leave your email address. I'll email you my free trading technique right away. Just call 1-800-228-2155. This is the very information my students use every day to invest in their financial future. Again, call 1-800-228-2155 in the next 30 minutes and leave your email address on my voicemail. That's 1-800-228-2155. Call 1-800-228-2155.
When you hear the word divorce, a lot of thoughts go through your head. The emotional exhaustion, confusion, the extra demands, loneliness. It's not a fun subject to talk about. So many people have or are currently going through a divorce. You may be one of them, or you know someone who is. Maybe a family member or friend. Now there's some great assistance to get you through the tough times. A BFF's Guide to Divorce can help you or someone you know walk through the divorce process and relieve much of the stress. It explains some of the variables and decisions of a divorce, along with the overall process and terminology. But it also explains how a best friend forever, a BFF, can walk alongside their friend during this challenging time, providing emotional and tactical support. Get a BFF's Guide to Divorce now for yourself or a friend. It's available from Amazon. To order, go to Amazon.com and search the keywords BFF and divorce under books.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, Mitt Romney won his primary by a cool 73% of the vote. So how did he celebrate? With his wife, maybe? Yeah. With family and friends? Yeah. But he also, filled his belly.
We celebrated and I had 2 Twinkies and chocolate milk in one night.
Sugar high, huh? It reminds me of Jeb Bush during a CNN town hall when they asked him what he does for fun.
What do you like to do, though?
What do I like to do?
To relax.
To relax? I like to do Sunday Fun Day with my 2 precious granddaughters that live in Miami with Jeb Jr. and Sandra. I make guacamole.
They make President Trump seem normal sometimes.
Well, they make him seem normal because he's 3-dimensional, and they're not.
I know. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our discussion of Janus, and we're going to talk to Mark Janus, the now famous plaintiff in that case, at 8:38.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and get the latest on breaking news here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
The Illinois governor is celebrating a Supreme Court decision on unions and free speech. Judge reverses a jury verdict in the Quintonio LeGrier lawsuit. 2 men found dead in a burning car in Joliet Township. CPS is now launching an office to try and protect students who report sex abuse. Dodgers got past the Cubs. White Sox, James Shields shut down the Twins. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
President Trump has a date with Vladimir Putin. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. He'll sit down with Russia's president in a few weeks. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The White House in a statement announcing that President Trump will meet with Russian President Putin on July 16th in Helsinki, Finland. The 2 leaders, according to the statement, will discuss relations between the U.S. and Russia and a range of national security issues. This will be the first summit between the 2 presidents since President Trump took office. The president tweeting this morning, Russia continues to say they had nothing to do with meddling in our election. U.S. intelligence agencies disagree. Dave?
Now, John, the president also was at a rally last night in Fargo, North Dakota.
Democrats want judges who will rewrite the Constitution any way they want to do it.
He says he'll pick a great Supreme Court justice to replace the retiring Anthony Kennedy using the same list of conservatives he had when he chose Neil Gorsuch. Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer says that list was
selected by powerful special interests who will reverse the progress we have made over the decades.
He's also urging Republicans to wait for the election like they did in 2016, refusing to consider an Obama nominee. President Trump also tweeted again, calling the Russian investigation a rigged witch hunt as Republicans continue to demand documents about how the probe started and if there was an FBI informant. The head of the FBI and the Deputy Attorney General will both testify at a House hearing later this hour, the day after FBI agent Peter Strzok was questioned in private about his anti-Trump texts.
We heard from Republicans that based on what they heard inside, they still believe that political bias played a role in the Clinton investigation, and then by extension, the Russia investigation, because of Agent Strzok's pivotal role in both.
Fox's Catherine Herridge. Democrats call the Strzok questioning a farce, saying the Inspector General found bias was not a factor in the decision not to charge Hillary Clinton. This is Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sunshine, 71 degrees, 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. President Trump will be just across the border in Wisconsin today for a big event at Foxconn, a ceremonial groundbreaking there for the big new manufacturing facility in Racine County. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner declaring victory in a long-running battle with public sector unions thanks to the U.S. Supreme Court. AM 560's David Stewart has the latest on reaction to the Janus case.
The court said non-union workers who benefit from Union 1 wages and benefits can't be assessed a fee to compensate the union. The fees will stop, and Governor Rauner touts it as a free speech victory.
This is not anti-union. This is pro-worker. This is pro-taxpayer. This is pro-freedom.
Mayor Emanuel says Rauner ignores the role unions have played in stabilizing government finances.
It's not a victory for taxpayers, and it's not a victory that I would celebrate, and I disagree with it.
Rauner's re-election opponent, J.B. Pritzker, calls the decision appalling. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
An investigation continues after 2 men were found dead in a burning car this week in Joliet Township. Forecasters in northern Illinois confirmed 3 small tornadoes from Tuesday's storms. A tornado in Manhattan was on the ground for about a mile. Another tornado touched the ground briefly near Maple Park in Kane County. Dodgers beat the Cubs and Kyle Hendricks 7-5. James Shields the win. White Sox beat the Twins 6-1 here in Chicago, and the LPGA tees it up at Kemper Lakes this week. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Chipotle Mexican Grill is closing dozens of locations, some within the next month. Chief Executive Brian Nichols says the company will shut 55 to 65 stores with weak sales. Chipotle has approximately 2,000 locations. Nichols has revealed other plans for the company, including adding delivery and a customer loyalty program. Drugstore chain Walgreens Boots Alliance is reporting a stronger than expected quarter. Retail pharmacy sales rose 15%, but its overall sales at existing stores were down about 1%. Jack Daniel's Whiskey is ending its sponsorship of Alaska's Iditarod dog sled race. A company spokesman says it will instead shift most of its marketing to the National Basketball Association. The Dow was down 165 yesterday. NASDAQ dropped 116. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder. The Larry Elder Show.
That wouldn't be Chuck Schumer in 2014, would it be?
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
I have a question. I've asked this before. It is a rhetorical question. Do you honestly believe if 80% of illegals turned citizens turned voters would likely vote Republican, we'd have this problem?
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA. And for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. See big delays on 8094 again, westbound from Broadway to Grant. There's a crash blocking 2 center lanes, and it's slow Indianapolis Boulevard to the Bishop Ford Freeway after an earlier collision. Southbound 53 is a mess from Dundee to Northwest Highway where there's a crash, and northbound now there's a Gapers delay, Algonquin to Northwest Highway. Veterans Memorial southbound delays from the Army Trail toll to St. Charles, northbound I-55 to 63rd, stall in the right lane, then from Findlay to St. Charles. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose southbound 26. Kennedy 53 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, much quicker in the Express. Eisenhower an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic service of Aruba Tourism. The Happy Island of Aruba is nestled in the southern Caribbean outside the hurricane belt. So picture-perfect weather is practically guaranteed. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your Aruba vacation today at Aruba.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Garrett Beck.
It'll be humid and warmer with sunshine and patchy clouds. The air quality will be unhealthy for sensitive groups, the high will be 88. Tonight, mostly clear, warm and humid, low 71. Tomorrow, humid with sunshine, the high will be 95. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
Blue sky, 71 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the Trump-Putin summit is a go. June 16th in Helsinki.
Finland.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to wear?
Sweden didn't make it.
Ah, that's right. Well, they were thinking, no, it was in between Sweden and Finland and not Sweden. Where else was there?
Denmark? Other
No.
Scandinavian country? Where? Where else?
I can't remember. It was not Sweden. But if you want to talk about Sweden, did you see the game yesterday?
No, I don't want to talk about Sweden.
No, come on.
Bella with a lap, and he goes for it. Sweden pushing. Larsson going to the right. Here comes the cross. The strike. 1, 2.
Shut out Mexico.
Yeah, that communist kickball activity they participate in. That's nice.
Well, this is what it sounded like because, we had the Mexican-American broadcasters here, on Fox Sports, but this is what it sounded like in Sweden. But what we did is we took the flag, my grandpa's flag, and I did what Mexicans are doing in Chicago and Puerto Ricans and the Polish, took the flag and hung it out the window of my car and drove from Arlington Heights back to the city of Chicago and did not get shot in the process. And people are actually laughing and cheering on the side of the street.
Yeah,
it was
it's
kind
like
of
what?
cute.
Because nobody's like, what's that
Well,
flag?
then somebody asked if it was a Greek flag. I said, it's not a Greek flag. We were blaring the national anthem.
Oh, boy, it's
so
delightful.
On Tuesday we play Switzerland at 7:30 a.m. So I thought,
Don't nobody
Justin,
cares.
no, our producer had a great idea. We should call a bar in Switzerland and just, trash talk each other. Do it on the radio. It'd be
Over
great.
communist kickball? Are you kidding me?
It's Dan.
You
It's
think I'm going to
the World
defile
Cup's a
myself
big
in this
deal.
show?
The World Cup's a big deal. And the fact that
Switzerland
Sweden,
and Sweden.
yeah, both neutral during World War II. I mean, come on, it's so
is
exciting.
It possible to have a more vanilla matchup?
Well, it's funny
Can I ask
because
you a question
the
about Sweden?
broadcasters were
I've lost. I've
well,
lost
the broadcasters were funny because they're like, Atterada, Gustafsson. I mean, it was cute when they were trying to pronounce the Swedish last names. Larsson, Jakobsson. It was good. You should have watched. I watched the entire match. It was real football. You would have loved it. It was a
Did you
physical
have
game. Mike Scott watched it. He was a goalie in college.
Did you have a vuvuzela?
Oh, like no, I did not see one of those. I didn't.
No,
see-
did you have one?
Did I have? No.
At
I
the
had on-
Swedish bar you were hanging out with. This smorgasbord.
You mean these guys?
Did you?
Yes.
Why don't you drive a Saab?
Because they're too expensive.
Mm.
And I have to fit kids in my car. So.
Can it, since you've gotten us derailed from
Yes.
important matters
We
like
even-
Peter Strzok's testimony and the Russian
Summit.
can I ask you a question about Sweden?
Sure. I was there last year. What can I have?
Why are they so inclined to microchip themselves?
Maybe they get lost.
3,500 Swedes have had microchips implanted in them. What you do with the microchips implanted in you, they function as contactless credit cards, key cards, even rail cards in your body.
Can they open the front door of your house?
No.
Can they let the dog out?
What is this? How is that? Oh, yeah, I guess, yes. Oh, yeah. I thought, wait a second, Styx is in Swedish.
Oh, yeah, they're from Gothenburg.
Okay, now I get it. Right. I'm so mystified by these Swedes. They're apparently.
So is this part of an experiment, or?
No, it's part of the Swedish culture, apparently. I don't know why you don't know this. Did Bjorn Borg get lost or something? People are worried about that.
I mean, I understand if you're an Alzheimer's patient, that would be useful, but
There's a biohacking culture in Sweden involving two groups, the Wetware Hackers, which was the name of your high school band, and the Transhumanists, which was the name of my high school band. It was a Human League tribute band.
Oh, okay.
The Wetware Hackers are citizen science hobby biologists who build laboratory equipment from household utensils.
Wow.
The transhumanists focus on enhancing and improving the human body with the aim in the long run of improving the human race. You basically turn yourself into Mr. Roboto.
Right.
So, yeah.
Do you think that'll be coming here? Because if anything happens in Sweden, it eventually gets to the United States.
Yeah. I think the temporary travel ban should be extended to
Stop.
Swedish transhumanists at minimum. Maybe let a few of the wetware hackers in, just because it'd be kind of interesting to see what kind of scientific tools they can make out of household appliances. All right, so are you done with your communist kickball stuff?
Fine. Well, Mexico still got in because Germany lost to South Korea.
Right,
so-
exactly. The winning and losing doesn't matter.
All
You
they
could
had to
remove the goals; it wouldn't change the game.
Well, no,
I mean,
it was
I
a
get
very
it.
physical game. You should have watched it. It was really fun, and the announcers were so biased the whole game. They kept saying, "Oh, I wonder who Mexico is going to play in the next round because we'll easily beat Sweden." Well, you didn't. And not only did we kick your butts, we shut you out. They didn't even score a goal. So there, I'm done.
All right, that's
So everybody, Tuesday we're going to call a bar here at 7:30 in the morning. Call a bar in Switzerland. Just get it. Let's trash talk, huh?
that World Cup minute was brought to you by Swedish transhumanists.
Halfback passes to the center. Back to the wing. Back to the center. Center holds it. Holds it. Holds it.
Halfback passes to center. Back to wing. Back to center. Center holds it. Holds it. Holds it.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It was Vienna or Helsinki. Those were the two choices. Okay.
Austria. Oh yeah, they got that new kid that's
Yeah.
running the show over there.
But they chose Helsinki. Forecast for today, mostly sunny, as you can tell. It's going to be warm. Unhealthy air quality for sensitive groups, people with asthma, allergies. High today of 88 degrees. Tonight, clear, warm and humid, a low of 73. And then we have a string of unseasonably warm days. Tomorrow, a high of 94. And on Saturday, we could hit possibly 100 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Daniel. Traffic stifling already on southbound 53 this morning. Got a crash at Northwest Highway, and the backup starts around Dundee Road. Northbound, there's a Gapers delay from Algonquin to Northwest Highway. Eastbound I-80 is a mess from I-55 to the Des Plaines River Bridge due to a crash. So is westbound 80-94 from I-65 to Grant, where collision blocks 2 center lanes. Aiden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. Kennedy, 53 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 45 from Montrose, just 26 in the Express. Outbound 52 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower's an hour and 2 minutes from 390 to downtown. 39 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 53 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 47 minutes. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl,
Oh, heartburn!
one man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on the go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it. Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the
sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Oh, I had it happen. Every time there's a hard rain, there's some water in my basement. And you know what? It's starting to get annoying and pretty smelly down there and moldy. But I could fix that problem as long if I just call Permaseal. They're locally owned and operated. Began in 1979. Roy Spencer started it. And it's still a local Chicagoland family-owned business doing the right thing and standing behind their work. Do you know that they have the most positive reviews of any waterproofing company on the Better Business Bureau website? Your basement is already dry most of the time. But if you want your basement dry all of the time, you know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325. Or check out permaseal.net. That's permaseal.net.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. And it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
I like you.
I like you, my dear.
America is falling in love with Mr. Rogers again. Entertainment Weekly raves it's the movie we need right now.
Fred's theology was love your neighbor and love yourself. It was a communication right into their hearts.
Mr. Rogers' faith has inspired us all.
Thank you for whatever you do to bring joy and faith to our world today.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Now in theaters everywhere.
AM 560, The Answer.
Why is that inappropriate for children
That's
under
not.
13?
Listen, the Mr. Rogers
I was
documentary.
going to bring Peyton and Eli.
No, you should. It's really good.
Okay.
It's good. It's Prof approved.
Oh, well, and Prof parenting tips are really the best advice I get all day.
And you got a parenting tip plus a movie recommendation. You take your kids to this documentary, Won't You Be My Neighbor? How about that? It's a twofer. All right. Mike in Union wants to make a comment about communist kickball.
Yeah, I love your comment about communist kickball. That's awesome. But when I grew up, Dan, I just remembered if you couldn't play baseball, you played soccer.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be a smart aleck and bring that up. So,
Yeah, it's
I
true.
know.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
Do you know how much endurance it takes to play soccer? If you go to an average practice
you
or a
just keep-
game, no, you're running 3 to 5 miles.
Well, I know you just
A
keep,
game.
Well, you just keep running around, but that's an activity.
Well, no, it takes skill
Yeah.
and talent, and it is physical. They get pushed around.
Yeah.
A lot of fake injuries too, but it was very entertaining yesterday.
We don't know how entertaining Peter Strzok's testimony was before Congress yesterday because he spent 11 hours behind closed doors. Hopefully they were
He missed the World Cup.
beating him senseless. And it's interesting because his testimony, and hopefully that will see the light of day at some point, comes a couple of days after this report by RealClearInvestigations.com. It's an offshoot of Real Clear Politics. 7 mysterious preludes to the FBI's Trump-Russia probe. Before the FBI began investigating the Trump campaign in Operation Crossfire Hurricane, there were at least 7 different instances when campaign advisors were approached with Russia-related offers. Most of those contacts, including Trump Jr.'s much-publicized meeting with the Russian lawyer, offer the prospect of information damaging to Trump's opponent, Hillary Clinton. 2 of these approaches were made by the U.S. government informant been identified, Halper. Another made by a man who swore in court that he had worked as an FBI informant. 2 others made by figures associated with Western intelligence agencies. And another 2 approaches included political operatives, 1 foreign with ties to the Clintons.
Oh.
So, this is some new information that, of course, prompts a lot of questions about the concerted effort to entrap Trump campaign staff. And so Lindsey Graham was on with Martha McCallum in advance of Strzok's testimony yesterday. And, she laid out the 2 questions that Graham sent over in written form to Rod Rosenstein about Peter Strzok before his testimony.
Number 1, did Strzok and Page have any role in retaining or supervising the informant or directing the decision to use the informant? Did Strzok or Page have any such role as to any informant used to investigate the Trump campaign or Trump associates? And number 2, did Strzok or Page have any role in reviewing, approving, or supplying information for the FISA warrant obtained to surveil Carter Page? So, when you put those 2 things together, your letter and that Real Clear Investigations piece, everybody is probing at how this whole thing got started and whether or not it was some form of entrapment.
And here's what Lindsey Graham thinks about what we know to this point and those questions to which he wants answers.
So they could not stop Trump
if they found her guilty of abusing classified information. So there was no way in hell they were ever going to find Clinton liable if the goal was to stop Trump, because you're giving him the election.
Yeah.
The question now is about the Russian investigation. Was it a counterintelligence investigation where they were worried about Russia trying to penetrate the Trump campaign? If that's the reason they investigated the Trump campaign, they should have told the Trump campaign, hey, there's some people associated with Russia that you need to be aware of. The fact that they never told the Trump campaign about the investigation is very curious to me.
Yeah, and so he's essentially insinuating that the fix was in for Hillary and that they were out to get Trump. And he is also a bit frustrated that no one other than Fox News seems to care.
So we'll see what Mr. Mueller does, but I'm shocked that nobody in your business, really outside of Fox News, seems to give a damn that the head investigator for the FBI wanted to stop Trump and basically bastardized an investigation of Clinton, had a bias that was beyond belief.
Well, I mean, if there was any attempt to influence.
Yeah, it's just serious stuff. So I don't. Is Mueller going to run somebody at Trump and Putin or Strzok? I guess he's a sideline for now. When they meet in Helsinki in July, I mean, are they going to keep this going?
I don't know. I mean, President Trump tweeted less than an hour ago, Peter Strzok worked as the leader of the rigged witch hunt for a long period of time. He got it started, and it was only fired because the gig was up. But remember, he took his orders from Comey and McCabe, and they took their orders from you-know-whom. Mueller/Comey are best friends.
Right. I mean, that's why the continuing to hold out for Mueller's integrity and the reputation that preceded him into the special counsel role to manifest itself is becoming a bit tedious. It's becoming a bit tiresome. And even the staunchest defenders of these institutions and some of the men who have headed them, like Mueller, they're wobbly at best for these guys now.
President Trump also tweeted 2 hours ago, lover FBI agent Peter Strzok was given poor marks on yesterday's closed-doors testimony, and according to most reports, refused to answer many questions. Well, two lawmakers who were in that meeting spoke. Here is Rep. Mark Meadows.
Still a lot of unanswered questions on who knew what when, and as it relates to this particular investigation, what was the genesis of the Russia collusion investigation. I don't know how any reasonable person reads the text and would suggest that there was no bias.
So that's Meadows, chairman of the House Freedom Caucus. And so after 11 hours, he still doesn't have an answer to that question?
No, and Jerry Nadler still doesn't have answers.
I think it was clear from the questions the Republicans were asking, but it was clear before this that the Republicans want to use Mr. Strzok and his texts as evidence to sabotage or to discredit the Mueller investigation. I mean, that was clear.
Yeah, you know why they want to use those Strzok texts to discredit the Mueller investigation?
Because it's true.
Because the Strzok texts discredit the Mueller investigation.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. I was reading an article the other day that the average American homeowner has over $16,000 in high interest rate credit card debt. Every morning you wake up and you work so hard to get ahead, but by the end of the month, you're just barely getting by. Then when things pop up like new tires, medical bills, school supplies, a laptop, it ends up on the credit cards. Well, the good news is if you're a homeowner, there's never been a better time to do a cash-out refinance. Your home is going up in value quicker than it has over the last 10 years. And mortgage rates are still near these all-time low levels. Cash-out loans are some of our favorites. Honestly, they really are, because those are the ones that make the greatest impact in a person's financial situation. Those are the loans where we're saving people $500, $1,000, even $2,000 a month. If you do have some credit cards, write them down. Get an idea of how high the balances are, how high the interest rates are, and then apply for a cash-out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert, LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group and timeshare cancellation advocate. I was sued by the largest timeshare company in federal court for simply helping people cancel their timeshare that they had been lied to about. The jury sized me up and came back with a verdict after only 20 minutes. And yes, I won.
My husband and I are more than grateful to everyone at Wesley Financial Group. You know, thanks to Chuck and his team, we feel as though a weight has been lifted and we can move on without the worry of a troublesome timeshare.
Whether you owe $10,000 to $250,000 on your timeshare, it's my mission to get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off your back permanently. And we proudly hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Want to learn more about getting rid of your troublesome timeshare? Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free consultation. Call 800-786-9300. That's 800-786-9300. 800-786-9300.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, a very special guest.
Yes, he made history yesterday. Well, the Supreme Court helped him make history. He is Mark Janus of Janus v. AFSCME, ending fair share for public sector unions in Illinois. We'll talk to Mark about that decision and what's next for him. He's still a state of Illinois employee at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Clear skies, 75 degrees at 8:30. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will get together for a summit. It will happen next month in the Finnish capital of Helsinki. The White House confirmed this morning that Trump and Putin will meet on July 16. Senate leaders are drawing battle lines over the vacancy on the U.S. Supreme Court after Justice Anthony Kennedy announced his retirement yesterday. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he'd like to get a replacement confirmed this fall. However, Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins says she will not vote for any judge. She will not vote for an anti-abortion judge.
I view Roe v. Wade as being settled law. It's clearly precedent, and I always look for judges who respect precedent.
Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says any confirmation process should be put on hold until after the November midterms. Democrat Senator Mark Warner of Virginia says it appears that children separated from their parents at the border are being very well taken care of.
These kids are being taken care of in a clean and appropriate environment. They're getting the health care and the education they need.
He visited the Youth for Tomorrow facility yesterday where troubled children and those rushed to the border have been housed for about 3 decades. Firefighters in Northern California making progress on the Pawnee fire, burning about 70 miles northwest of Sacramento and about 30% contained. The 7-year legal battle between Apple and Samsung is over. Court filing late yesterday, a Northern California district judge says both companies agreed to drop the case, but terms of that settlement were not disclosed. In the most recent stage of the legal battle, which began in 2011, a federal jury ordered Samsung to pay Apple about $540 million. The family of Quintonio LeGrier will not be receiving any money for damages, in spite of a Cook County jury ruling in favor of a damage award. A judge reversed the verdict in that case yesterday because jurors also found that police officer Robert Rialmo feared for his life when he shot and killed LeGrier on the west side in 2015. An attorney for the LeGrier family says the city simply won on a technicality. An investigation continues after 2 men were found in a burning car this week in Joliet Township. The discovery was made while crews were responding to a vehicle fire Tuesday near Rowell Avenue and Sugar Creek Drive. An historic covered bridge in Long Grove severely damaged after a truck plows into it. Chicago man was driving on Robert Parker Coffin Road when he struck that bridge. The incident happened just over 2 weeks after the bridge was designated a federal historic landmark. Dodgers meet the Cubs 7-5. White Sox over the Twins 6-1. The news, a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drugged driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or madd.org. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher. The Mike Gallagher Show.
This is the headline at CNN.com. Donald Trump is as popular as he's ever been, parentheses, in one poll. That's the CNN News headline. I've never seen a more biased headline. You know what that one poll is they're referring to? Oh, I don't know, a little organization called Gallup. Oh, my gosh. We are in Crazyville.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This Friday and Saturday, get up to $300 in prepaid MasterCards on select tire and wheel packages purchased with Discount Tire Credit. Discount Tire, where America saves on tires.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. If you get the feeling your deposits don't matter to your bank, then maybe you're not with the right bank. At Signature Bank, your deposits matter to us as much as your business loans. Signature provides unmatched banking expertise, custom financial solutions, and the industry's best technology to closely held Chicagoland businesses. Whether your business is looking for a deposit relationship or needs a ready source for financing, Signature Bank is the right bank for you. Call us today to see how Signature Bank can help your business grow and thrive.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:35. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. 8094 westbound traffic jammed. I-65 to Grant, crash blocking 2 center lanes. Eastbound I-80, really heavy. I-55 to Richards. Southbound 53, stop and go Lake Cook to Kirchhoff. There was an earlier crash at Northwest Highway. Northbound, it's heavy Algonquin to Kirchhoff. The 8 ends from Lake Cook to Montrose is 20 minutes. Southbound 26. Kennedy, 53 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 45 from Montrose, now 42 in the Express. Outbound 24 minutes to Montrose and 47 to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. 41 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 53 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 47 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State southbound heavy, 132 to 176. And from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound Southwest Highway to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny, warmer. Crank up that AC. Some unhealthy air out there this afternoon. High 88. Warm and humid under mostly clear skies tonight. Low 73. 75 at O'Hare. 79 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity. Right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We have spoken to him before throughout this saga as the Janice Fiesme case wound its way all the way to the high court, where yesterday the United States Supreme Court, a 5-4 decision, made Mark Janice's name one for the ages. This is a seminal case. It overturns 40 years of precedence on the issue of public sector unions being allowed to per the decision yesterday, infringe upon the First Amendment rights of workers, extract fair share dues, even if the worker in question isn't on board with their representation. Mark Janis is a child support specialist for the Illinois Department of Health Care and Family Services, and he joins us now. Mark, thanks for being with us again, and congratulations.
Oh, glad to be on again.
After this, 3-year saga, almost 2.5-year saga.
Yeah, it's been about 3 years.
How did you feel yesterday when the Supreme Court announced their opinion?
Oh, I was elated, just absolutely overwhelmed that we got the decision that we were hopefully going to get. We were optimistic, but with the court, you never know. But when the ruling came down and Alito started to read his opinion, it was just thrilling, absolutely thrilling.
Where were you when this was happening?
I was in the courtroom. I was in the Supreme Court room. It was day 3. We were here Monday waiting for a decision. That didn't happen. So then it was day 2. Didn't happen. So with my attorney and others, we were saying, well, this is Groundhog Day. We're waiting for Bill Murray to show up, and then day 3, bingo, it happened.
And just, in your own words, to refresh people's recollection of why you took up this cause in the first place, why did you agree to be a plaintiff in this suit?
Well, what I found is when I joined the state approximately 11 years ago, nothing was said during the HR process, where you fill out all your usual forms. Nothing was said about, the union. And then when I got my first pay stub, here's a line item that says union dues, and there was an amount taken out as a deduction. And I'm going, well, I didn't sign a pledge card. I didn't ask, to be a member of the union. And so I started asking my peers in the area, where I worked, and they said, oh, yeah, everybody has to pay that. That's just part of doing business as an employee. And it just didn't sit with me because, no one asked me, nobody told me about it, but yet they're taking money, out of my paycheck.
Now,
and, of course, as the years went on, it kept adding up, and I kept seeing what the union was doing, and it just kind of stuck in my craw, if you will.
Well, what was your point of contention with the union? What was the union doing with your money?
Well, it was the fact that we really didn't know where my money was going. They claimed that it was for collective bargaining purposes and negotiations, but yet I didn't see the negotiations really going anywhere. And then number 2, the fact that they were advocating for policies and parts of the contract I didn't agree with when it came to seniority and overtime pay and health benefits and all kinds of other things. And I don't think I have to mention, the terrible, deplorable state of Illinois and its budget and its, crisis, and yet the union's out there, rallying and, protesting and, wanting bigger tax increases, in order to pay for these bigger amounts of benefits that they wanted. And I'm thinking, how does this help the middle class when you're, which they say they're trying to protect, but then on the other hand, they're advocating for tax increases.
Right. Yeah.
It was a dichotomy there that just didn't seem to make sense to me.
Yeah, those very unions you're talking about, of course, reacting to the decision yesterday, say this is, billionaires, union busting, and so on and so forth. And so I just wanted to get your perspective on unions in general, because as from our conversations before, I know you're not particularly ideological on the issue. You're just, put in your own words in terms of what your views are on unions generally.
Well, I'm definitely not anti-union. I mean, if someone wants to be a member of a union, they should have that right. I mean, that's been around for many, many years. And, that shouldn't change. But what I disagree with is the fact of having to pay a fee in order to work in state government in the public sector in order to have my job. Because if I didn't pay, then I couldn't have my job. And that is not right, in my opinion. And, of course, that obviously was upheld yesterday. And, it's not only me. I want to emphasize that we've got 5 million public sector workers out there in 22 different states, including Illinois, that are having to pay these fees to the unions. And they don't have that choice. And all we're asking for is, the union keeps saying they, looking for worker rights. Well, I'm saying, what about our rights as workers to make a choice on our own and decide for ourselves?
Well, you're still at your current position. What's been the attitude or the feedback given to you by your coworkers?
Well, I haven't been back to the office yet, so I can't speak to that.
But when this was
directly.
filed,
But the lead up has been, the pro union people have pretty much just ignored me and they have bypassed me completely. But I have an awful lot of people, that are definitely on our side, if you will, and just coming up quietly and saying, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. I agree with what's happening, and I agree with your position. I didn't know how to go about it, but I'm glad you found a way, and we appreciate what you've done.
Yeah, the CMS, Central Management Services, sent out a missive yesterday to state workers right after the decision, sort of outlining the implications of it, and that now there is an opt-in if you want to be represented by the union, and the presumption is you're opted out if you don't opt in. And so I mean, the landscape is changing quickly, and I wonder what you think the implications are going to be for AFSCME and SEIU and the teachers union.
Well, I think all public sector unions, whether it be teachers or any others, the union is now going to have to go out and do a better job of selling their product, if you will, and be more transparent. And they're going to have to make the argument that it's a good thing to be a part of the union. And because we've had some lack of transparency in that regard, and because we have had, the fact that, some of these negotiations, they tell us one thing, but you read other things in the paper, and the back and forth, is just, I don't think is right. And I go back to Randy Weingarten, who's the head of the teachers union. On the steps of the Supreme Court after our arguments, she stood on the steps and said, well, if we lose, I think we'll have to do a better job at communicating with our members. And I just floored me, because I'm thinking, shouldn't you have been doing this from like day one? Why does it take my case, and all the other public sector people that follow in my footsteps? Why does it have to be that case for them to realize that they have to have that kind of contact and transparency?
Do you realize the historical mark you've left on this country? Is that
well, it's beginning to sink in now that it's day two. And I'm just, my name is on the case, and people are calling this the Janus decision and so on. But it's I really look at it more for all the other people out there like myself, across the country, that have been fighting for this for way before I got involved. I mean, you've got the Rebecca Friedrichs case out of California,
right?
You had the Harris,
Pam Harris
Quinn case
here in Lake County, another Illinoisan. Yeah.
Yeah, you had the Knox case. All of these people came before me, and pretty much kind of started to lay the groundwork, and I guess. I just kind of, is it the right time? The sun and the moon and the stars aligned, I guess. I don't know.
So do you have any kind of macro hopes for this state with the respect to the impact of this decision? I mean, in other words, perhaps the power of public sector unions will be diminished, the resources will be diminished if people choose not to become a member, and they may alter the sort of political landscape in a productive way?
Well, I think it's too early to say, and my effort here was not to change the political aspect of the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
My effort is just to give workers, individual workers, the right and the choice to make their own decision. Just like you do every day when you go to the grocery store, or you go down the street and maybe you exercise and run or walk, and you decide, am I going to go straight or left or right? That's a personal decision. That's all I'm asking for is that independence.
But do you think the playing field is actually equal now for Republican candidates, since the majority of your union dues went to support Democratic candidates?
I really don't know. I think that has yet to be seen. And I try to not make that political argument, because that was not what this case was about in my mind and why I brought it.
Mm-hmm. Were you, prior to being a plaintiff in this case, were you politically active? I mean, in terms of campaigns and candidates and stuff, or you pretty much stay away out of the?
No, I pretty much stayed out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a couple of candidates. I put a sign in my yard, but just because I believed in what they were saying,
right.
And I liked what they said. But for the most part, I've always been neutral. I'm not a member of any party. I really don't contribute to any party at all, and I consider myself more an independent than anything else.
Yeah, I'm not a member of an organized party either. I'm a Republican. Hi-oh. Little Will Rogers there for you.
Okay.
No, let's dispense with the suspense now,
Yes.
Mark. What's
Yeah.
it going to be? Are you opting in or opting out?
I'm probably going to stay out, and I'm going to wait and see what happens. If the union can make a very good, strong argument, for my being a member, I'll give it some consideration.
Okay.
Really?
But I think it's too early to make that judgment right now. I think the unions are going to have to, pull back, and they're going to have to look and see what their next step is and how they're going to represent, public sector employees, and we'll just have to go from there. So I can't say one way or the other.
And are you sure you're not afraid at all of any retaliation?
Well, I think the unions are a lot smarter than that. I think they know that if there is some retaliation, that it's going to go negative against them, and I don't think they're going to be looking for that. I mean, I certainly hope they would be smart enough to do that. I'm keeping my eye open and the like, but I don't think that'll be okay. They've been slamming me more on social media and in the press and the like than they have in any other way.
Right. No, you took the right approach. Don't get beat up in a back alley. That's where they like to do their business. But I agree with you, much like the political class and the public sector union bosses are part of it. Can they reform themselves when the market changes and they don't have these kind of institutional guarantees? It is going to be very interesting to watch if these unions are capable of any re-engineering and rethinking, just as we talk often about state government more generally, whether or not it's capable of doing the same.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they're going to have to rethink and regroup, and quite frankly, there's nothing wrong with that. And if that's the direction they go, and that's what they do, and this actually causes them to be a little bit more proactive, so be it. There's nothing wrong with that. And like I said before, I'm not anti-union. If they can produce a good product, then go out and sell it in the public, just like the automobile manufacturers, dishwashers, or any other product that we have out there in the marketplace.
All right, he is Mark Janis. He's a child support specialist, for Illinois Department of Health Care and Family Services for the state of Illinois. And, of course, now his name is part of Supreme Court jurisprudence in this country, Janis v. AFSCME. Mark Janis, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Nice to speak with you both. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. The thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs and get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain. Find the source and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day.
She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies, although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society, creating a better world for pets and their people.
Is it worth $20 to get you out of pain? Hi, Mike Gallagher. Oh, yes. For over 3 years, I've been telling you about Relief Factor and how my lower back pain left me in trouble. My pain was making my life miserable. Then my buddy Hugh Hewitt asked me why I wasn't trying Relief Factor. It got him out of pain, and glory, it did the same for me. $19.95 for a 3-week quick start. ReliefFactor.com. What are you waiting for? ReliefFactor.com or call 800-500-8384, 800-500-8384.
Gentlemen, June is Men's Health Month. Do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone and prostate numbers? I know mine. I went to Low T Center. They make it quick and easy. You'll know your results in about 20 minutes. At Low T Center, most health insurance is accepted. They'll even verify your insurance for you. Low T Center's physicians have been exclusively diagnosing and treating men for low testosterone for years. And in honor of Men's Health Month, Low T Center is offering a special testosterone and prostate level test for just $50. Take advantage of this offer, especially if you haven't met your deductible yet, or have a high copay, or simply don't have insurance. If you've noticed a decline in energy or motivation, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy. It can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. When it comes to your health and daily quality of life, do what I did. Get your numbers checked. You owe it to yourself. Call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. The number again, 312-239-3427. Or go to lowtcenter.com for more information. That's lowtcenter.com.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modification successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. I don't think Plato had former CIA Director General Michael Hayden's tweet comparing Trump immigration policy to the Birkenau death camp at Auschwitz in mind when he conceived of the Noble Lie. Nor would Plato likely place under the Noble Lie header the D.C. Press Corps' magical storytelling about a 2-year-old Time magazine cover girl who was separated from her father in Honduras by her mother, but never separated from her mother by Border Patrol or anyone named Trump, not even Peter Fonda's nemesis Barron. The lies told by elites these days are intended to foment social unrest, not cohesion. The ignoble truth is that today's elites cover their tracks by feeding the public supersized whoppers to stunt their appetites for edifying information and dull their attention spans. Never mind that the fix was in at FBI. See Trump's criticism of Comey as a veiled predicate to martial law. Never mind that family separation was not new policy at the border and that only the enforcement of it was new. Instead, understand this as an existential battle not for border security, but against bigotry. In other news, Paul Manafort has pled guilty to a violent crime for which he was not charged. ABC News reports.
When you hear the word divorce, a lot of thoughts go through your head. The emotional exhaustion